Welcome to Latrobe. Representative football, Tasmania v Queensland. A cracking encounter in store here today. The third year in a row. This rivalry will be renewed. Tasmania getting the job done the past 2 years, fairly comfortably last season. Back in 2023, the last time it was in Tasmania, though, it was an absolute thriller. And I'm expecting a similarly tight encounter here today. It's a pretty strong Queensland side that's come down. Really looking forward to calling the action on this one. I'm Andrew Cooling. Joining me in special comments to call the action is Jack Barry. Jack, we've just seen the Queensland women get the job done. Do you think the men can do likewise?
Well, they're certainly here to do it. They're here for one reason only, that's to try and beat the mighty Tasmanian. They've certainly done it, as you spoke before, Andrew, over the last 2 years. And certainly on our home ground last year in Queensland, they were outstanding. And fleet of foot, dominated by out of the ruck with Phillips. So Queensland had to go back licking their wounds. A lot of former players not happy with how we're going. So they've got to... we lost our coach who went to coach Cooperoo this year, so we had to appoint a new coach. But we've been able to pick up Steve Daniel, who's a well-credentialed coach, Coach Southport. Very, very experienced coach. So a bit of a new look side for this year. And, there's been a shortened program, but it's been pointed. And they've come ready to play.
That's certainly one area Tasmania might feel they have an edge. They've been able to play together a few times this year as part of this this program with the build towards the VFL team. So they've perhaps got a bit more familiarity with each other than the Queenslanders. How many training sessions with the Queensland side have been able to get in together?
Well, I think they had about probably three training sessions face-to-face, but they've done a little bit online is the modern way of doing things this year. So they've had line coaching meetings on breaks, and I'm mindful that there's a fair distance, no different to Tasmania. So fair distance between Noosa and also Palm Beach on the Gold Coast to Sunshine Coast, and also Brisbane. So they've done it a little bit differently. But again, this has been the benefit of this program. Some of these boys have played together for 3 years and starting to build up some strong relationships and connections already. So they'll be certainly ready. They're up and about. There's a couple of ex-Tasmanian boys in the teams as well, and they'll certainly want to play really well in front of their home state. We know how special it is to pull the map on, so we understand that at Queensland, but we're just as passionate building up when they put the queue on for Queensland. Yeah, certainly. Looks like the players heading towards the near side for that national anthem. We'll get to that one in just a moment. Who are the key men for this Queensland side that you think are going to be the difference makers? Jumping out at me is the name Hamilman. I remember the big power forward from last year. And Cam Ellis-Yeoman, very handy AFL career for him. Yeah, and that's right. 2 great players. Other players that'll... Hamilman's a superstar of our competition. And, if he can get the supply and we can win the ball quickly, he's going to be a player to watch out for. Tom Simpson won the medal last year. And also Reece King's another little player from Palm Beach. Benny Woodburn's a much underrated looking player, but he's a star in our competition. Not much of him. He's a great player. So, and then Garrett Madonna, a lethal left foot kick.
We recognise their continuing connection to land, water and culture, and pay our respects past and present. We acknowledge the numerous Aboriginal players who have played the game at all clubs, together with those of Aboriginal descent playing in today's game. If you are able, could you please be upstairs with the national anthem to be performed by Amelia French? Australian, so let us rejoice, for we are one and free, with golden soil and wealth the soil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts. Our beauty rich and rare. In history's page let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strings then let us sing.
national anthem, and we're just about ready to go here in Latrobe. You've talked through the key players for Queensland. I'll just hit a couple on the Tasmanian lineup before we go for perhaps our northern viewers tuning in, unfamiliar with the Tassie team. Brad Cox-Goodyear, the veteran, he will be key. He's in there to take the coin toss at the moment, a laser of a left boot. He'll be key. Sam Siggins has been a star for Tasmania in these state games. He'll play forward and be a vital target. Andrew Phillips, former Essendon and GWS ruckman, dominated this game last year. Dominated against in the recent rep South v North game down here. He's still playing wonderful football. He's going to be very important. Brandon Leary is a lively goal kicker inside forward 50. He and Josh Green will probably be pretty important there. The big opportunity probably lies in what's a fairly young midfield for Tasmania. I'm looking forward to seeing what some of the youngsters can do, stepping up into perhaps the whole no Kieran Lovell this year presents a big opportunity. So looking forward to what we might see from the likes of Bailey Bogue and Fletcher Hooker in there has been in some really good form. So I reckon some really good opportunity for some younger players in the Tassie team this year.
Yeah, no, looking forward to seeing them. I think Tassie's a younger side this year, so again, they certainly got on top of Queensland with leg speed, so again, that'll be something we'll have to watch out, and certainly Phillips in the ruck is going to be a danger for Queensland, because we just watched the last game and the dominance of what the ruck role can play, so it'll be a really interesting tussle.
Yeah, it certainly will. He's certainly been in sharp form this year. Still looks like he could be playing at AFL level, so they'll be looking for a big performance out of him, but we'll see who does their best work at his feet. It's a wonderful opportunity for a lot of these younger players in the Tassie team, hoping to be part of a VFL program with the Devils in coming years. Occasions like this is a really good opportunity to put your foot forward, and I've no doubt the Devils recruiting staff will be tuning into this one and having a look. So big possibilities there, but also, of course, everyone out there is just going to be wanting to get the victory, not looking too far beyond today. It's Tasmania v Queensland in a state representative game. Anytime you're putting on the map jersey, I know that it means a lot, and players are going to be wanting to win. And I spy it looks like Ellis Yeoman and Cox-Goodyear going head-to-head in the middle. What a matchup that will be.
Yeah, a mouth-watering matchup. So there'll be plenty of great. This is the great thing about state footy. Plenty of great matchups across the field. Williams going down to fullback, a former medalist himself. So he's been an outstanding player for Queensland. Looks like he's going to pick up Smith.
So we're ready to go. Representative football, the spiritual home of football here on the coast in Latrobe. We're underway. The 2025 battle. Bowman up against Phillips in the middle, and no one will get a decisive clearance there. They'll go again. A big job for Riley Bowman here today. Phillips wins that one down. Ellis Yeoman, Bowman followed up at ground level. Bogue trying to buffet his way through, but the first clearance goes to Oscar Paprotny. High ball towards the half-forward line. Sam Siggins swept a clever handball out there for Norton. Norton spies a man in space and hits him up. Finds the mark in the form of Cameron. Kai Cameron is a live wire inside forward 50. Been in good goal-kicking form this year.
He's be able to got that separation and got to be able to lead into some space. Took a nice mark. Now we'll get a shot on goal.
Sam Siggins throwing his weight about inside forward 50 early. Got the handball away to Norton. So can Kai Cameron take the first opportunity of the contest? He's just hung it across the face. Behind only there. Here's Garrett McDonough. You mentioned his kicking skills in the pre-game. Man to distribute out of defence here. Here's he head. Just stab a short little one. Find Dunkley. Some AFL experience. Melbourne Demons, and here he is at McDonough looking to charge out of defence, and he absolutely lasers one right down the corridor in the direction of Cameron inside forward 50. Little shot from King finds its way out the back, and there's the danger man Hamilman, who says thank you very much, and Queensland go coast to coast in the blink of an eye and kick the game's opener.
Yeah, great goal there by Hamilman. He gets the first for the afternoon. But again, Madonna, we saw him. He got that first little kick away. They checked him really well, but then he was able to get away and then link up through the middle of the ground. And Reece King is a really hard tackling Palm Beach forward. Done really well inside forward 50 and kicked to advantage to find Hamilton, who kicks his first for the day.
Well, I know he's the danger man inside forward 50. Looks like Theo Ives has been given the job on him, but he flagged McDonough as a danger man, and that was he was the architect of it. It was, took the kick out, and he's the one who's delivered it to the paint of 50. So certainly someone Tasmania are going to need to keep a watch on. Great start for the visitors. With a little 6-6-6 breach there, I think. Tossed up, so it must have been. So Phillips and Bowman. Phillips won it down, but he won it straight down to Simpson, who sends Queensland forward again inside 50. Ives handball over the top. The umpire's blown a free kick, though. Free kick going the way of Jared Cameron, I think.
Yeah, it must have been shepherded out of the contest. And Cameron, who's had a good start to his time at Sherwood, kicked the 23 goals this year. Of course, from the West Coast Eagle in Swan District, will get his first shot for the afternoon.
So Queensland, an opportunity for a lightning fast start here. For 2 goals. The opening few moments of the game. Jared Cameron sends it on its way. Looks pretty good. Just drifted late. It's Tasmania who got the jump on Queensland last year in that first quarter. Queensland looking to turn the tables here. And get the early jump on Tasmania here in Latrobe. Harry Bay was out of defence. Driving kick. Smith worked underneath the football. Looking for a free kick expectantly. Won't get it. Williams with the intercept will send Queensland forward. Sends it inside 50. Around the corner from Harker. Across the face in the direction of Austin. Won't quite stay in for him.
Yeah, great mark there by Williams. Just worked his player under the ball. And as I said, I thought it might have been hands in back, but not quite. Got a repeat entry for Queensland.
Baker Smith certainly thought so, but the man who counted disagreed. Tossed back in. Phillips and Bowman. Phillips smashes it towards the boundary. They'll go again.
This is a great opportunity for Bowman. As I said, he lowered his colours probably last time, certainly in the ruck contest. So again, he's up for today to trying to minimise the impact of Phillips.
Phillips swipes at that one. Battle away at ground level. Ellis Yeoman fed the handball out. Trying to bust through was King. But good tackle laid by Bailey Bogue. Phillips bodies up, slaps it towards the boundary. Fed backwards towards King. The boundary line wins out.
King will add that forward pressure. A young bloke out of Albury. Spent some time on Southport's list and also Bond University. Back in Queensland, back at Palm Beach. And certainly having a very good year under David Armitage.
He's been heavily involved early. The Ruck's going to wipe each other out there. Here is King again. Fed the handball backwards. Tumbled inside the forward 50. Cameron took it cleanly. Snapshot on the run. Cameron with a classy goal. And Queensland off to the dream start here. Jared Cameron fires through their second. That was very sharp.
Yeah, good start by the Queenslanders. Bank Smith gets his hands on the footy through the middle. It wasn't his greatest kick, but a messy ball inside forward 50. Cameron was able to be clean below his knees and then steady and kick around his body and kicks a goal. And that's what those small forwards. So Reece, King and Cameron both having influence as a small forwards already.
Great start from the visitors. They mean business here this afternoon. As I mentioned, it was Tasmania who flew out of the blocks last year and really have almost got the game, not quite won, but they were a long way ahead after that first quarter. So they fought back from there on. But Queensland, they've got the jump here this afternoon in Latrobe. Very impressive start. Tasmania looking for a response here. Bowman just kind of ran straight at Phillips there. That might be high contact. It will. Free kick going the way of Simpson. Influential last year for Queensland. He fires them inside forward 50 here and hits up Hamilton.
Beautiful kick out of the middle by Simpson. Kick to advantage into space, and Hamilton didn't need much time. he broke the lead and took a nice mark. Another shot from about 50, probably 53, 54 metres out from goal.
Distance shouldn't be a worry. Big Hamilman as Bowman, who ran into Phillips there, coming off worse for wear, limping towards the boundary at the moment. But eyes on Matt Hamilman, looking for his second early on here. Just got a bit too close to the man on the mark, I think.
Yeah.
Impacted the kick. Drifts off to the right.
Yeah, Bowman getting his ankle looked at. And this is a big opportunity for young Max McDonald from Maroochydore. The young ruckman, emerging young ruckman coming through the program.
Bales goes looking for Phillips, who just works his way to the front, takes the mark, and another Queensland ruck injured, is it?
Looks like he's fixed up McDonald as well.
So perhaps some potential worries there. Phillips bites one off in the middle for Elmer, played on immediately. Bogue handball to Cox Goodyear, kept it in motion quickly to Hooker. Hooker's run down from behind. King comes away with the ball, he's wrapped up. The umpire will have it. Tasmania really trying to move the ball quickly there.
McDonald may have got a poke in the eye, I'm not too sure.
So Phillips swipes it down looking for Cox Goodyear. Under some pressure, just worked it towards Bogue, but the boundary line wins out. So McDonald has recovered all right here. He'll compete with Phillips. Cox Goodyear applying pressure to Banks Smith. Cox Goodyear looking for a free kick, none forthcoming. Stoppages early. Phillips just takes this one out of the contest himself, but Protney was immediately under pressure. Cox Goodyear on his non-preferred tumbles one forward. Smith wants a free kick for a push, but for the second time already, the umpire tells him to get on with it. Kick heads wide for Banks Smith, who marks it half back. Hesitates about going backwards, then thought better of it, just drove one down the line, but turned it straight over to Cox Goodyear. Phillips wants it in the corridor. Too riskier option, so he punches one down the line looking for Josh Green. Spoiled away from him. Battling away is Chug. All spills out, but not before the umpire's whistle had sounded.
Already danger signs for Queensland in the ruck. Just such a strong body experience. Good work there by McDonald then.
Cox Goodyear with the clearing kick, sends it high inside the forward 50. Working to the front was Siggins. Green roved superbly. Snapped, won't have the carry. That might be a hold though on Baker Smith. Against Baker Smith. Well, he's not on great terms with the umpires early here, Baker. That's the third one he's felt entitled to.
That looked a bit stiff there.
I think he had a stronger case that time, but none forthcoming.
Simpson busy early.
He certainly has been. He was fantastic last year. That kick not quite so good though. Invites in Fletcher Hooker. Handball out towards Cox Goodyear. Reeves now works his way through. The handball a bit indiscriminate. Kick round the corner. Phillips with his name over that one, but it bounced. That might invite McDonald. McDonald did well. Worked the handball over the top. Sound of play for a ball in as Fletcher's escorted out.
That's where young McDonald will have to use his athleticism and try to run off Phillips if he can.
Queensland by 13 points here. Started sharply. Ball in at half forward. Free kick. This one will go to Phillips.
Yeah, grabbed his jumper.
Phillips looks to spear one into the corridor. That's a lovely ball. Found Reeves. Reeves looks to get things moving quickly. Sent it wide. Nicely done there by Wilkinson. Gave it to Ives. Sent it in the Cameron direction. Umpire will blow a free kick in favour of Queensland.
Yeah, Williams once again in defence. He's been outstanding, taking two contested mark. Got a high shot then.
He started well. It's Queensland defence holding up early on as Tasmania just starting to get a foothold in the game. Here's Woodburn at half-back. That's a good ball out the back to McDonald. Can he take the mark? He couldn't, but he got the kick inside forward 50. All to be won, and happy to find the safety of the line was Wilkinson. He'll be tossed back into play.
Tasmania getting hold of the ball. They're looking to switch the angles, try and spread the field. So Queensland trying to make sure that doesn't happen. Blocking the exits.
It's back in. Ellis Yeoman looking to rove, follows up with a good tackle, locks it in. Such a big body, Cam Ellis Yeoman. Going head to head with Cox Goodyear. Mouth-watering matchup early in this one. Handball back from Harker. Now Cox Goodyear flicked it over the top. Trying to gather its wolf. The youngsters in the team spiked away from Cox Goodyear by Moore. Did well. Sends Queensland inside forward 50. Hamilman. He's going to get the free kick. Ives.
Yeah.
I feel a bit annoyed about that one, Ives, as Hamilman spilled the mark, but he'll get it anyway. The whistle had gone, downfield free kick. He let them off the hook early, but distance won't be an issue here. He's second for a 19-point lead for Queensland. And Hamilman from 45. That looks a better kick. It's right through the middle. He has two. And Queensland have the first three in this game. They're out by 19 points.
Well, it's important Queensland get off to a good start, and they're kicking the goals that they need to kick. And that was good work there by the Queenslanders. McDonald looks like he's just got a little nick to the eye, so they're just fixing him up. But they've been able to regroup. I can see on the boundary line there that the other ruckman's getting his ankle taped in, Riley Bowman. So hopefully he'll be able to come back onto the field for Queensland's sake. But good start. Looks like we're going to see Siggins go on into the ruck.
Siggins going to have a run in there. His side trailing by 19. A bright start from the visitors here. Siggins. Very good winning the clearance himself. Worked that one across to Brower. Turning on to the ball now. Hooker. Heads into the corridor. Spotted low. Northwest Coastal will drive his side forward here. That's a good mark from Cameron. Presented nicely and plucked it.
Yeah, Leary did a really good job in just keeping his opponent out there. It gave him a chance to run and jump at the footy and mark it at its highest point. It was a good grab, and here's a chance now for Tassie to kick their first goal.
He has their only score of the contest thus far, Kai Cameron. It was a far sharper angle on that shot. This one you'd fancy he should take. Tasmania in need of a settler here. Can Kai Cameron deliver? He can. And the local crowd enjoy that one as Kai Cameron gets Tasmania's first of the contest. They cut the margin back to 13, and they were in need of a settler there.
Yeah, it was good work that game. They switched the ball back through the middle of the ground. And a nice kick inside forward 50 where his teammate worked for him, shepherded him out a little bit. All within the rules of the game. And a nice strong mark.
Was some nice work, and Hooker finding low in the middle of the ground, setting it up. So Tasmania on the board after Queensland had got the jump. Still a handy 13-point lead here midway through quarter number one. Siggins and McDonald to battle. Siggins has to block him off. Norton, the handball away, but straight to Simpson, who gets the clearing kick inside forward 50 again. Cameron lurking. Hahn laid a tackle, and the umpire said didn't have the football. Free kick Tasmania's way. Harry Elmer speared one, unaware it was headed in his direction was Bealey. The handball will go across the line.
Yeah, probably like that kick back again, just a little bit off fraction, and then Queensland will be able to cause some pressure for a turnover. A chance to regroup just outside their forward 50.
Siggins works his way to the front. McDonald wins the hit out. Siggins looked to rove it. Applying the pressure.
It does look dangerous in the ruck, doesn't he, Siggins? His ability, obviously, to also win clearance from the ruck contest. Looks like it could be a factor.
He's very good. He's often played as a midfielder. Very versatile player, Siggins. Ellis Yeoman with strength took one on, took two on, then had to get rid of it. Handball from low. Bealey now is locked up.
Yeah, good, strong forward pressure there by Cohen Harker from out of Aspley.
Tossed up again. It's Yeoman through the contest. How's the umpire going to see that? He says, I'll have it again.
Thought he might have dragged it in a bit. He looked to get it out, but Woodburn got away with that one.
Tossed up, Siggins curls one round the corner. That won't be 15 though. As Clifford took the ball across the line. Doing a good job locking the ball inside forward 50 so far, Queensland. Making it easy for the Tasmanians to exit. Tossed back in the paint of 50 here. The Rucks lock up. Ellis Yeoman hands to the football. Here's King. Straightens up. It's bending back. Not quite enough. Just to behind. Stabbed this game sharply, Reece King.
Yep, no, very tough inside forward 50 player.
So Elmer reloads out a fullback. Kicks it wide to a contest. Not quite Brower. Turning around with it. Toby Callow. Younger players in this Tasmanian side today. Jackson, of course, formerly AFL listed. Handball out. Harker around the corner. Might find a mark. Callow coughed it up a little sharply. That might be high contact. It had to be. But Protney just slipping up there.
Yeah, looks like the inspirational skipper in Will Fletcher was able to get that free kick.
So Fletcher can extend the lead out to 20 points here. Easy one for the umpire to call that. Will Fletcher. On its way. And sends it through the middle. Queensland continue their strong start to this contest. 4-3-27. Leading Tasmania 1-1-7 by 20.
Yeah, good goal by the skipper. Much loved player. Been in that program for 3 years, similar to some of the other boys. And been fantastic. So again, taking the role as captain this year.
They'll be delighted with this start, the visitors. 20 points ahead. Looking dangerous inside forward 50. Good around the ball thus far. Home side with some work to do. Phillips back into the ruck. Bounce will have to be recalled. Phillips reaches over the top. Norton couldn't take it cleanly. Getting a hand in the way was Smith. Bailey Bogue brought down by Smith. Doing well to get it out of there was Simpson in the direction of Harker. Forced the handball back. Found its way to Offermans. And then Dunkley just cleverly guiding one to McDonough. You know he's a dangerous ball user. Can he find a target inside forward 50? Ellis Yeoman snuck forward. That's where he heads. And it's a wonderful kick to him. He knew who had the ball in hand. He seemed a long way away, but he just knew McDonough could get it to him, and get it to him he did.
That's the hard part of the stand rule, can't you? You can't close him off there. You've got to stand there, and because he's on his left side, but he'll still be able to kick across his body. And it's a beautifully weighted kick there to Ellis Yeoman, who'll get a shot on goal.
So Cam Ellis Yeoman to continue the dream start here for Queensland. Make it 26 points. Goal umpire made to work. He's missed. And then off there, 21 points. It's been a very promising opening quarter from Queensland. Bales looks to reload. Sent in the direction of Chug. Spoiled away from him. Ellis Yeoman worked it back there to Bowles. Bowles now sends them inside forward 50 again. Hamilman there. Ball spills out the back. Under pressure, Callow. The high and wide kick. Stays in play. Cox Goodyear has some support. He's brought down. Donna applying some pressure. The umpire calls for it.
So good pressure by Queensland. Just trying to keep that ball inside, playing the game in the forward half. All the players are picked up behind the footy. McDonough's by himself though.
Cox Goodyear Bales shark though by that man in Woodburn. Couldn't quite direct his efforts. Firmly on top here though, Queensland. 4-5, 9 scoring shots to 2. The opening 22 minutes. A kick, a better one, finds Paprotny at half-back. There to now for Oscar Paprotny. I think immediately catches his eye, so he'll kick in the direction of Chugg up against McDonough. Chugg had 80% of it, couldn't quite complete the mark, and then coming away with it, Woodburn worked it back there to Moore. Now Williams drives it down the line. Callow getting a hand in the way. He's brought down by Fletcher.
Queensland look like they're on at the moment. They're just... Looks like we've got Riley Bowman back on the field.
They're feeling it right now, and they'll go forward once again here. Elmer did well not to get in the back in the end. Cox Goodyear handball, but they'll form their own shirts. They're all on their own. They'll come away with the football via Simpson. Simpson sends it round the corner. A bit of a rash kick, though, straight to Paprotny, who hits across the face. Spots Wilkinson in space, and he'll look to combine with Callow and try and play it out, but they've made a bit of a meal of this. Hamilman forces the turnover, gave away a free kick, which will bail the Tasmanians out. It was all a bit untidy. So Wilkinson spears one into the middle. That's a lovely kick for Bailey Bogue. Bogue heads wide. Reeves worked it over the top for Brower. Pretty ugly kick, taking front position. Bowman just outpointing Phillips. Bowman again. Will look to switch it up. Sends it across to Bowles. Bowles thought about playing on, then just glides through the corridor, drives it in the Hamilman direction. Just taken away from it the last second. Still a danger here is Harker. Callow handballs out a defensive 50. Elmer. He's immediately besieged. They force a stoppage.
Yeah, the kicking skills from Daniel Bowles from Redcliffe off their halfback also been pertinent this quarter.
Through the contest, Fletcher did well. And then Bowman stabbed a little short pass. Fell the way of Bogue. Bogue's clearing kick, though, straight towards Arnold. Reeves with some work to do. Did well to get to the football, Reeves. He'll settle for a boundary throw in here. He did well to find the safety of the line. Queensland had numbers. It'll be tossed in half forward from the Maroons. 25 minutes into this one. 22-point lead. And firmly on top right now, the visitors. They've jumped the Tasmanians here in Latrobe. Phillips won it down, but won it down to Banks Smith. Banks Smith inside the forward 50. There, the flowing locks of Harry Bales to take the relieving mark. Bales set his teammate Wolf for task there. Plenty of numbers for Queensland. Handball back inside. Sharked by Bogue. Couldn't find Cox Goodyear. Woodburn turns into the tackle of Bogue and he got him high. So a free kick for Ben Woodburn. He'll send them forward again. Plays on. Plays on inside 50. Driving it deep to the line. Almost there was Austin. Couldn't quite take the spectacular mark through from behind. Bales wants some distance here. Oh, the kick's a shocker. Straight to Dunkley. Dunkley plays on, sends it right back over his head. It's drifting right through the middle. And Kyle Dunkley punishes the turnover. It was a poor kick from Bales. And Dunkley sent it right back over his head, and Queensland have another.
And that's what Queensland will need to do today. They'll need to make them pay maximum price for mistakes, and The Cooperoo star, Kyle Dunkley, kicks his first for the afternoon. Experienced player, having a great season for the Kings this year.
It's all just looking a bit indecisive coming out of defence from Tasmania at the moment, isn't it? They look very unsure of themselves and they're missing kicks. The pressure from Queensland really getting to them. But see, initially Bales kind of signalled, go long, and then pulled the kick short. He probably should have gone long.
Yeah.
So Tassie in some trouble here late in quarter number one. 29 points in arrears. Bowman tackled by Phillips. Ball might spill his way. Instead, it falls for Hooker. Hooker with the handball across, but it was miscontrolled there. Bales applying some pressure. The handball back out to Austin. Ellis Yeoman with strength away from Cox Goodyear. And here's the dangerous McDonough. Drives them inside forward 50 again, looking for the dangerous Hamilman. Hamilman cleverly off the deck. Dangerous signs here. Umpire's whistle goes. And it's going to be another free kick for the Maroons.
Yep, held without the ball. It's going to be Cohen Harko, who certainly had his fair share of the footy this quarter. A late inclusion for Jack Rolls, and he's certainly making the most of it. Injured Jack Rolls.
This would make it 35 points. The free kick against Beerley. Directly in front, 20 out. Should be no problem. Is no problem. Queensland are blowing Tasmania out of the water here at Latrobe early on. It's a 35-point lead in the shadows of quarter time.
Again, the ability of Madonna to be able to run free, kick that ball inside forward 50 where they've been under the pressure, Tasmania. And Queensland have been able to capitalise and, more importantly, kick their goals.
Well, I think Jeremy Weberley would take the siren if it was offered to him right now. This Tasmania side badly needing to regroup. They have been jumped. It's the reverse of what we saw last year at Bondi University. It is the Queenslanders running riot here at Latrobe. Here's Cox Goodyear. Not much purchase on that kick. Turning through traffic was Smith. And then heads wide for Ellis Yeoman. Just great composure there from Dylan Smith. Ellis Yeoman, impressive early. Back for Woodburn. Woodburn will drive it through the middle again. Spoiled away by Beerley, but there is the siren. A dominant first term from the visitors. They will be delighted with that. They have blitzed the home side 6-6 to 1-1, a 35-point advantage. They could have dreamed a better start than that, Jack.
Yeah, great start by Queensland. They're out of the blocks. They've been building up for this game for a long period of time after being embarrassed last year. It's only early days, though, but a good start. I think they want to be a little bit more purposeful going inside forward 50. They had so many looks, but to get away with the 6-goal opening term was outstanding for Tassie. Again, a chance now for the coach, Jeremy Weberley, to get them together and try and regroup.
Yeah, regroup they will certainly need to do. They have been well and truly beaten in that first term. 35 points the margin. Still plenty of time to mount a comeback, but they're going to need to find improvement all across the ground. Before we take a break for quarter time, we'll just get your better players from that first quarter, Jack.
Well, again, Simpson's got his hands on the ball. I think he want to be a little bit cleaner going inside forward 50, but he's certainly winning a lot of ball around the stoppages. Woodburn, again, as that quarter went on. Reece King was outstanding early in the quarter. We spoke about Madonna, how influential he was with his kicks. He was really, really good. And, of course, Ellis Yeoman was strong in the contest, was able to feed players in and around him. What do you think for Tassie?
Well, there weren't too many amongst the better players, that's for sure. Phillips was doing well in the ruck contest, but it wasn't translating into clearances. Kai Cameron kicked the lone goal of the quarter, and he looked good when the ball got down there, but it wasn't going down there too often. It's hard to find too many winners. I thought Bailey Bogue did a few nice things, but just a lack of composure, I think, the real thing that's standing out. Foot skills really letting Tasmania down, and Queensland, they have been relentless in punishing them. So a lot of work to do, and they're going to need to find a few more better players if they're going to get back into this contest, that's for sure. We'll take a break. From Latrobe, it is Queensland with a 35-point lead, 1 quarter into this one. Representative footy. We'll be back shortly. Had to be for Protney just slipping up. On its way and sends it through the middle. Queensland continue their strong start to this contest. 4-3-27. Leading Tasmania 1-1-7 by 20. Target inside forward 50. Ellis Yeoman snuck forward. That's where he heads. And it's a wonderful kick to him. He knew for Queensland. Make it 26 points. Goal umpire made to work. He's missed. Let off there. 21 points. It's been a very promising. Bales wants some distance here. Oh, the kick's a shocker. Straight to Dunkley. Dunkley plays on, sends it right back over his head. It's drifting right through the middle. And Kyle Dunkley punishes the turnover. It was a poor kick from Bales. And Dunkley sent it right back over his head. Again looking for the dangerous Hamilman. Hamilman cleverly off the deck. Directly in front, 20 out. Should be no problem. Is no problem. Queensland are blowing Tasmania out of the water here at Latrobe early on. It's a 35-point lead in the shuttle. Well, welcome back to Latrobe ahead of quarter number 2. It's the home side with some real work to do. Queensland getting the jump on them 6-6-42. Tasmania 1-1-7. 12 months ago when these two teams met, it was Tasmania 44-3 at quarter time. Basically, the complete reverse of that here today. It has been Queensland who've come out and made a real statement of intent off the bat, haven't they, Jack Barry?
They certainly have, and it's been through the likes of a ground ball with Simpson. Alice Yeoman, we spoke about, has been really strong in the contest. Woodburn's been a real link player and busy underneath. Harker's also had his hands on the ball, has come into the side. Up forward, we've seen the smalls in King and Jared Cameron really apply tackle pressure, hit the scoreboard if they can. Hamilman, as we say, is a dangerous. He's kicked his 2 goals. In defence, I've really liked Williams, McDonough and Bowles have all been pretty pertinent with their foot skills and marking prowess.
So we'll see if Tasmania can get back into this contest. They haven't left themselves much margin for error from this point. It's been the dream start for the visitors, but still a lot of ball game to come here. See if Jeremy Webberley has been able to just get things to settle down a bit in the quarter time huddle. See if there's any tactical tweaks he's pulled, but he needs a response from his charges. As we start the second term, Queensland 35 points ahead. Oman and Phillips to do battle in the middle once more. Phillips won it down to Cox Goodyear. Handball out towards Norton. Immediately caught, though, by Ellis Yeoman. The umpire's whistle had blown. Free kick against Ellis Yeoman will go the way of Norton. So Baxter Norton, usually a good user of the football with that left boot of his, drives it up towards the half-forward line. Green caught behind. He was quiet in quarter number one. Admittedly, the ball didn't get down there all that often, but they'll need a lift from in this term. Lovely hands from Simpson over the top. They chain through the middle back to Dunkley. Dunkley drives it inside forward 50 and wide open is Hamilman.
Oh, great play, Queensland. Ellis Yeoman below his feet, won the footy, got the ball out. Dunkley composed, running through the middle, lowered his eyes, kicked to advantage. Great mark, Hamilman.
Now the spearhead kick two in corner number one, eyeing off his third of the afternoon. Looming large. Well, not much Theo Ives can do if it comes in at that rate of knots. No, Hamilman from 45. It's drifting just across the face and behind only. Missed by much. Bales ignores Cox Goodyear short and instead goes further afield, looking for Paprotny, but it spilt out the back. Guiding kick towards the half-forward line, off hands. Ellis Yeoman can't quite gather it in bounds.
So Tassie will look to really try and start winning the ball in and around these stoppages. It's important they start getting on top, start getting the games back on their terms.
It's an area they'll look to use the advantage Phillips gives them, but he's beaten on this occasion. Gathering the ball was King, handed off to Ellis Yeoman just behind him though. Cox Goodyear angles the body. It'll be a ball up.
King gets hands away there, then backs straight up and applies a solid tackle.
It's been fantastic to start this one. King again first hands to the football, then follows up at ground level. The handball out. Woodburn fired it back. For a standing start, Bowman kicks it out of bounds on the full. That pattern of the first half taking hold early in the second too. Queensland locking it in their forward half.
I think Coach Daniels would have just said, like they did with Dunkley, just to lower your eyes and be a little bit more purposeful going inside 50 because they have blazed away a little bit. There are options around for them.
So Cox Goodyear runs the boundary line, then drives it long. Leary juggling it. Couldn't quite complete the mark. He okayed the free kick, though. Player they need to get involved, Brandon Lear, and he drives them inside the forward 50 here. Can he find Siggins? Not quite. Green pounces on the ball. Turns one way, then the other. Snaps it deep. Kai Cameron now has a couple to beat. Ball bounces away from him and trickles across the line.
Williams just been able to make body contact there, so he couldn't get a clear jump at the ball. Ball goes over the line and out of bounds.
Forward 50 stoppage. Tasmania needing to get something going here in quarter number two. Siggins to do the ruck work against Bowman. Just tried to work Bowman underneath it, but he got a piece of it. Smith handballed out looking for Bogue. By the blind side, it just called ball up before it spilt out. Toss it up again. Siggins paddling down. Simpson. Wide for Austin. It was tidy. The kick not so tidy. Bit of a flat potato sack and have found Callow. Callow just looks to switch it up. Goes backwards to Bales. And Bales guides one. Too much on it for Norton, though. Again, just missing targets by a foot, Tasmania. They were burnt in the first quarter, and Queensland looking to do it again here via Smith. He charges off down the wing. Handball over the top for King. Kept the ball in motion now for Cameron. Will it sit for him? It does. He straightens up. Pulls the kick cleverly for Cameron of the Jared variety. who slides in and takes the mark.
Good composure, good play. Again, that's what I think Coach Daniel will be looking for, that selfless teamwork, just to square that ball up in the middle. And Cameron, as we know, was running hard up the field and running back hard into some space, takes a mark directly in front.
So the Cameron combination, Clay to Jared. And Jared will look to drive through. Queensland's 7th. Nearly regulation shot to extend the lead to 42 points. He drives it right through the middle and he loves it. Jared Cameron has another. Queensland have a 42-point lead. And again, Tasmania just making basic errors by foot and being punished for him. It does.
Call,
he straightens up, pulls the kick cleverly for...
The decision was right. The execution was just too much. And that rebound, as we know in modern-day footy, can go from one end of the arm real quickly. And Queensland had the overlap. They had Hamilton running hard into space. To Queensland's credit, they ran down hard to try and shut him down. But, of course, it let other players open, and one of them was Jared Cameron.
I mentioned last year Tasmania's speed was really impressive and caught Queensland out. I think we're seeing the reverse here today a bit. It's Tasmania really being stretched by some hard running from Queensland. Phillips won that down nicely, but he couldn't quite find hooker. Ellis Yeoman handball back to Smith. Tumbles one towards half forward. Bales with hands there first. Looks to turn away. Flicked it, but he missed low by hand. And now an opportunity for Banks Smith. He retreats. Now a high ball inside. Forward 50. Spoiled away. Hits the ground. A little bit of a fumble might invite some danger. Kick was well smothered there. Nicely done. It was Norton, perhaps with a goal saver there. And now Josh Green takes the mark and immediately goes. Drops it off short for Wolf. Wolf has Leary on over the top. That's where he heads. Can he find him? He can't. He puts it out of bounds on the full.
Tasmania getting frustrated. That was a lot better build-up. Green's ability to mark the ball on the wing and quickly play on. McDonough now to switch.
Lovely left boot to McDonough. A piercing kick across the face. And now Banks Smith takes it on half back. Guides a short one. Finds Offermans. Tasmania will set up behind the ball here. So you retreat all the way back to Williams. Williams into the corridor. They've thought their way through this one nicely. Foot skills really impressing from Queensland here. And that's another lovely ball for Harker. Harker sends it in the Hamilton direction. Has he reeled in another? He has. And that is just the difference between the teams right now. Elite ball use from Queensland. Just thought their way through it. Didn't miss a kick from full back to full forward, basically. Hamilton gets it again.
Yeah, Queensland composure with ball in hand. Hamilton's smart enough to take body contact early just to give him a bit of space for the drop zone. Takes a nice, strong mark. We've got a good view of this one, Andrew.
We do. Hamilton has a couple. He's looming large again today. This one started right, and that's where it'll finish. Probably the only area of his game that's letting himself down a little at the moment, Matt Hamilton. Certainly got the better of Ives as it stands, but it's that 2 goals 3 I think he's kicked now. Elmer trying to make something happen, darting out of defence. Heads wide. Will trickle out of play. Just unable to find an outlet. Queensland firmly in the ascendancy here. 43 points to the good. Dominating this contest. Phillips against McDonald. Phillips works his way to the front, won it down, tried to find Hooker. Hooker in the end forced to lay a tackle. Phillips reaches over the top. Free kick. It's going to go the way of Banks Smith for a hold. Just the attacking side of the wing. The leads begin to present themselves. He'll head wide. Callow read that one. Had his name all over it. Takes a relieving mark. Now this is where it is broken down for Tasmania today. Find a target off half back. He's going to be forced to kick to a contest. Siggins blocked out. Might fall the way of Cox Goodyear. It'll sit for him. I think he would have liked the advantage. Won't get it. Siggins paid a free kick for a block. So Siggins drives it in deep. It's Austin who takes the mark in defence for Queensland. His kick, not a good one though. Might invite in Paprotny. Ball in dispute on the paint of 50. Hooker applying some pressure. Reeves missed a target by a hand. Clearing it away is Harker. It's a wide kick. It tumbles out of play. He tossed back in.
Thought he might have been gone for boundary line being a friend there, but he was able to get that. He's been good, Harker.
He's done some nice things. Back into play. Phillips works his way to the front, but won it straight down to Ellis Yeoman. Off the boot of McDonald. Umpire will have it again.
Interesting to watch Ellis Yeoman. He doesn't panic even when under pressure and being tackled. He's still calm.
Uses that big frame. Cox Goodyear with a creative kick inside forward 50. And get a stoppage deep inside the forward 50. The lefty side here is Cox Goodyear, the skipper. His hands on the football a bit. His side in dire need of a goal. Donald won it down. And ball found its way to Banks Smith from a standing start. Cameron sliding into mark. Gave the handball and some dash off half back here from Banks Smith. Drove it in the Hamilman direction. Gathered, turned, sent it high inside the forward 50. Spoiled away by Paprotny. Elmer handball. Teammate under pressure. Wilkinson slaps it on the boot. Phillips had 3 to contend with. Austin juggling, couldn't quite complete the mark. Ives forced it out. Battle there between Hooker and Woodburn. And it's held up for a ball up.
Not much of Woodburn, but he certainly throws his body around the young bloke from Surface Paradise. Strong tackle there.
Just latched on to Fletcher Hooker. Held it up. Ellis Yeoman with strength through the contest too. Woodburn high up and under. Here's Hamilman, just caught behind. Wilkinson got a fist in there, trying to bust through the contest. Did well, got to Harker. Harker tumbles through another one. Queensland extend their lead. It's out to 49 points as Cohen Harker gets on the scoreboard, and Tasmania in some real trouble here in Latrobe.
Yeah, great little handball out of congestion there by Queensland. Her players are sitting out in the periphery, and Harker, who's capping off a good day, gets a goal. Really good work up forward before by Jared Cameron. He just reads the cues really well off the boot, and they were able to win that ball out of defensive 50, then move it in towards the forward line for the Maroons.
Yeah, some super work from Offermans there, just to be able to get the handball out wide to him. He was being tackled, but still was able to force it wide, saw his man in space, and another one, 49 points. This is a smackdown right now from Queensland. Tasmania reeling. Back to the middle. Cox Goodyear can't escape the clutches of Ellis Yeoman. Handball to Simpson. Simpson manufactures a kick in the Cameron direction. Clifford now under pressure. They just work him under it. Cameron there, as is Hahn, and they lock it in once more. They are relentless right now, the Maroons. Down by McDonald. Siggins and Cox Goodyear able to halt Tom Simpson, who's been prolific again in midfield, was sensational for his side last season. Bogue gave it to Siggins on the run. Clear and kick in the Cameron direction. Battling away with Bowles. In dispute. Burrowing in after it is Reeves. Spills out way of Brower, now kicked inside 50. It's a 2-on-1 in favour of Queensland. Almost a favourable bounce for Smith, but the numbers win out. Kick wide, but called to play on was Moore. Kept his composure. Williams now under pressure from Smith. He too is composed, heads wide. Bogue tries to spoil it away. And Lovig is taken across the line. Tasmania have to get something going here in attack. Bowman gets the better of Siggins. Then blasts it down the line. Straight though to Callow. Moves it quickly for Brower. Brower sends them forward. Can he find a marking target? Reeling it in. Here's Smith. And he can go back and try and kick a badly needed goal for his side.
Yeah, great mark there by Smith. Just had a little bit of separation. Was able to wrong foot Williams. And then he got a nice jump on the ball. Took a nice mark.
Baker Smith looking to stop a run of Queensland goals here. His side in dire need of a major. He simply must kick this one. 30 out, slight angle. Baker Smith makes the goal umpire work and he misses. Make it ill afford a behind there. 48 points the lead. Nothing going right for the Tasmanians at this stage. Kick down the line. Harker flying from behind. Hello there for Tasmania. Clifford gets a hold of Cameron. One down by Bowman. Siggins fired out the handball to Brower. Sends it in the chug direction. Green there too, but they're both over on the football. Banks Smith under pressure from Green. Did really well to get a hand in there. And then Norton swings it inside forward 50. Cameron applying some pressure. He tossed back into play.
Just not quite falling Tasmania's way. A nice little kick around the corner, but just had a little bit too much on it. Had a player there all by himself in chug. Just went over his head.
Green goal side as it's cleared away. Brower first to the ball, took it cleanly, but then handed it to the opposition. High ball up towards the wing, tracked by Clifford, who'll drift out of play. So, Will Clifford heads inside, found Norton. Bogue wanted it short. Norton instead wheels off to his left, then thumps it inside forward 50. Nicely done there to break it up. Green applying some pressure, but again, they're able to work their way out. Cameron will see it over. Tasmania at least, I suppose, from their perspective, getting the ball inside 50 now, but not doing much when it's getting in there. They're not really quality entries, it has to be said. Queensland, 48 points ahead at the 18-minute mark of quarter number 2. Bowman has a look at Siggins. Siggins won it down to Bogue, but he's immediately besieged by Offermans. Beautiful ruck work there from Bowman. Won it to Smith. Smith sends it towards the strong Harker. Somehow gets a kick away. No, it is 15, says the umpire. So the mark paid. Beautifully done there by Jared Cameron. Pulls his kick into the pocket. He found the marking target in the form of Cameron. Clay Cameron.
They're combining well, those two.
They are.
Camerons. Well done by Harker. Just again kept his feet. Just got his kick away. He's been strong. Had a really good second quarter again, backing up his first quarter. And then Cameron, he just reads it so well off the boot, doesn't he? He reads the cue so well. And again, he was effective with his kick inside forward 50.
So we saw Clay to Jared earlier. The reverse this time is Clay Cameron with the shot. He can't quite convert. A tough chance, but sneaks it in for a behind. Extends the lead to 49. Harker's ability to get a disposal away when being tackled has really stood out to me so far this afternoon. He's a brute.
Yeah, strong through the core.
So here's Elmer. Into a contest, off hands. They're going to be back under pressure here. Bogue goes in for it, tries to spin through trouble. Simpson had his kick smothered. Another stoppage.
Yeah, good work there by Hunter Moore. Just couldn't quite take the mark, but he butted up again, kept the ball inside to make sure it didn't get out.
Phillips wins it down. Thumped forward by a hooker. Free kick for a hold there. Can Tasmania get something going here? An advantage. Wasn't paid, but an opportunity for Kai Cameron. The Leeds present themselves. See anything he likes immediately. In the end, he'll kick it in the Smith direction in a wrestling match with Williams. Spiked it away from him. The handball across to Lovig, who ships it wide. Smith at half back.
I think Coach Webber would be looking for a little bit quicker ball movement from there. It allowed Queensland to get numbers back there. Once the ball wasn't marked, they were able to kick the ball away.
Now applying some good pressure, but they're still able to clear it as Callow rises high and spikes it out of play.
The champion, Siggins, waiting to come back on the ground.
Certainly use some Sam Siggins magic here. They need something to lift this side. At the moment, Queensland dominant. Bogue unable to crash through. 49-point deficit seems all the more daunting when you've only managed one goal in a quarter and 20 minutes. Scoring proving very difficult for the Tasmanians. They'll get a free kick here. Fletcher Hooker, usually a good user, fires this one in the Cameron direction. Couldn't find a mark. Smith, a bit of a fumble, but recovered it, then danced through some traffic. Drives it wide, too wide. Out of bounds on the full. So Wilkinson, defensive side of the wing. Drives it up towards Phillips. Too much on it for him and just barked out the back. Juggling the mark was Moore.
Yeah, there's a lovely intercept, Mark Moore.
Well, that was dicey. Oblivious to Baker Smith behind him. He sneaks in. Having missed one earlier, simply must go back and convert this one.
Yeah, always hard to kick a pass a ball when someone's flat-footed because it can always be picked off. So Hunter Moore will learn from that. As a nice mark. He'll want that kick back again, but he'll lift his head.
A risky option, that kick, when there is someone lurking behind. So Baker Smith. Tassie desperately need a goal, and Baker Smith has missed again. They've had two opportunities this quarter, squandered them both, and just can't afford to be missing chances like that. A bad miss, that one. Risky kick into the corridor, broken up by Smith. They come away with the football via Dunkley. He's been a real creator for them. Hamilman presented up nicely, and they're out the back here. He sends it over the top, and he finds the hard-running Banks Smith coast to coast in the blink of an eye.
Well, the 2023 Grogan medalist, of course, a Tasmanian, but he certainly made his impact at Queensland since coming up there. Queensland bold, taking the game up through the middle. Again, reading the cues, Hamlin outstanding. Turns around and kicks long.
Banks Smith makes the miss from Baker Smith hurt all the more and extends Queensland's lead to 54 points. It's looking pretty emphatic, this. They are dominating this contest. And it is a thumping lead on the scoreboard now as we tick towards half-time.
Yeah, again, good build-up there by Queensland. Let off the hook there. I'm sure Hunter Moore was thinking, well, that's turned out okay in the end. But 2 years ago, that young bloke's playing in the Colts Grand Final. And here he is on the big stage today. So, his game will keep continuing on from there. But bold play by Queensland through the middle of the ground. They got away with it. Got the goal in the end.
Tasmania in all sorts, 54 points in arrears. They'll get a clearance here via Fletcher Hooker, though. He sends them in. Smith just missed time in the lead, couldn't get there. They move it quickly, chipped over the top to McDonough. Stops to stab a short one for Dunkley. McDonald riding shotgun. Instead, guides one down. It wasn't a great kick. It's chopped off by Callow. Stagnant again for the Tasmanians. Callow forced to kick to a contest. Phillips is there. Smith is there. Floats over both their heads and is spoiled out of play by Williams, who's been fantastic back there for the Maroons. It's another defensive contest. Phillips protects the space, palmed it down, but palmed it down to Woodburn. Tries to escape the clutches of Bogue. He's pinged holding the football. Bailey Bogue. Tasmania goalless this quarter. Need to find something before the halftime break. Stabs a short pass and he found Paprotny. Paprotny now just guides it forward and he finds a charging Siggins.
Yeah, nice mark there by Siggins. Again, Queensland not being able to fill in the hole there. And just off one step, she's able to weight that kick beautifully for Siggins to run on and have a shot on goal line up for the Tassie's second goal.
Well, they only had the two scores this quarter. They were two pretty gettable opportunities from Smith. Siggins now with a shot from about 40-45, directly in front. His team need this one. Give them something heading towards half-time. Sam Siggins stands up and delivers. Boy, did they need that one. And Tasmania needs a goal. So often it is Sam Siggins they turn to. He delivers the goods there. Maybe that can spark something for them as they finally get a goal in quarter number 2.
Well, the Siggins name and goals certainly haunt us from the game down at North Hobart when he just moved the ruckman underneath him and won the clearance and kicked the match winner. So he's a very dangerous player. He's been pretty well held so far today, but they won't get too far ahead of themselves.
48 points to the margin. Late in quarter number 2, but Tasmania a little bit better the last 10 minutes. The ball inside 50 at least. Generating a lot of scoring chances. Can that get the ball rolling for them? It's a long way back. They're going to have to be perfect from here on out. But something perhaps to spark them. Phillips will take it, but it'll have to go again. Ellis Yeoman looks it out, slapped by McDonald. Burn in there. Bogue looked at handball to Cox Goodyear. Thumps a high ball inside forward 50. Almost Cameron through the legs of Siggins. Out the back is Green. Here he is, Josh Green for 2 in a minute. Some signs of life from the map. It's taken them nearly the entire first half, but finally they're starting to awaken here, the Tasmanians. And they get 2 quick goals to cut the margin back to 42 points.
Yeah, some great clearance work there. The ball goes inside forward 50. Again, we know how dangerous Green is. They make a contest and he doesn't take much time and space to be able to hurt you, and Green kicks a goal.
Nicely done by Wolf to work it to him too, but Tasmania get their third. 2 in a row, so a little bit of momentum perhaps to take into the halftime sheds. It's still a commanding lead for Queensland. Might just give Coach Jeremy Webley something a little more positive to point to in his halftime team talk. They can finish out this quarter strong. 2 quick goals and it's 42 points now the margin. Good clearance here. Cox Goodyear is being held. He'll get the free kick, so a chance to go forward again.
Phillips hasn't come away from that contest too well, so he's just...
And that would be an enormous blow as Cox Goodyear sends it in the Siggins direction, but he couldn't quite work his way to the football. There is the half-time siren. So Tasmania claw a couple back late, but before that was a Queensland blitz. And they are well worth their 42-point lead at half-time. They've been spectacular. They have thrown down the gauntlet to the Tasmanians. It's going to take something truly spectacular in the second half. Queensland, you'd have to be absolutely delighted with how things are going, Jack Barry.
Yeah, no, it's a good start by Queensland, a good half of footy, that's for sure. I thought Woodburn, again, was instrumental that quarter. Well, so was Harker early in the first half of that second quarter. Cameron, again, did well. Some of the youngsters have caught my eye that quarter for Queensland, even though some of their kicking and a couple of little mistakes, but Austin and Hunter both showed a little bit, and Bowles and Williams were outstanding as well. But I thought overall Queensland's ability to win clearance and exit the contest was really, really good. But we saw Tasmania late in that quarter kick a couple of quick goals, and that's what they've got. They've got some match winners in their side. They can regroup and come out this second half. We've got a match on our hands.
And we're looking to channel that in the third quarter. We're looking to make some inroads into what is a sizable lead, but at least they've got a foothold for the first time this afternoon. The last 2 goals of the first half, up till that point, it was an absolute blitzing. Tasmania with a lot of work to do in the second half. Queensland put in a brilliant first half display. At half time at Latrobe, they lead this one 9-9-63, 3-3-21. Be back with the second half shortly. Smith makes the goal umpire work and he misses. Make it ill afford. Behind there, beautifully done there by Jared Cameron. Pulls his kick into the pocket. Found the marking target in the form of Cameron. Clay Cameron earlier. The reverse this time is Clay Cameron with the shot. He can't quite convert. A tough chance, but sneaks it in for a behind.
Intercept Mark Moore.
Well, that was dicey. Oblivious to Baker Smith behind him. He sneaks in. Tassie desperately need a goal, and Baker Smith has missed again. They've had 2 opportunities this quarter. Squandered them both and just can't afford for them. Hamilman presented up nicely and they're out the back here. He sends it over the top and he finds the hard-running Banks Smith. And Banks Smith makes the miss from Baker Smith hurt all the more and extends Queensland's lead to 54 points. It's looking pretty emphatic, this. Protney now just guides it forward and he finds a charging Siggins.
Yeah, nice.
It's half time. Sam Siggins stands up and delivers. Boy, did they need that one. And Tasmania needs a goal. So often it is Sam Siggins they turn to. He delivers the goods there. McDonald. Burn in there. Bogue. Looked at handball to Cox Goodyear. Thumps a high ball inside forward 50, almost Cameron through the legs of Siggins. Out the back is Green. Here he is, Josh Green for 2 minutes. Some signs of life from the map. It's taken them nearly the entire first half, but finally they're starting. Welcome back for the second half here in Latrobe. It is the home side with it all to do in the second half. Tasmania trailing Queensland by 42 points. A glimmer of life for the Tasmanians with 2 late goals to just give themselves a slight hope heading into this second half. But a lot of work to do here ahead of this second half. They've not given themselves much margin for error. As you have pointed out, Jack Barry, goals can be scored quickly in modern football.
Yeah, certainly can. And I'm sure Coach Jeremy Webberley would have spoken to the players and reinforced that just at half time, those late goals that we got. And, if they can turn this quarter into they can kick 4 or 5 goals to be 8 goals to, even if it's 10 or 11, they're right back into the game. And, but they've just got to start winning clearance and getting on top, as we saw late in that quarter. They kick quick goals very, very quickly. So multiple goals quickly. So that's what they'll be looking for this quarter.
Yeah, I think the back half of the quarter was a lot better from the Tasmanians. The first half of the quarter really played out in the same manner that the first term did. It was Queensland dominant, just pouncing and feasting on Tasmania turnovers, getting the ball forward, locking it in. Tasmania looked indecisive by foot coming out of defence. The foot skills were really letting themselves down. Started to get a bit more of the ball inside 50 as the quarter wore on. Missed a couple of chances they probably should have had, but then crucially got those 2 late goals. So they've given themselves a chance, but still certainly with it all to do here, Queensland have been outstanding so far this afternoon, and probably you'd say that the first 10 minutes of this quarter are going to be absolutely pivotal. Tasmania need to pick up where they left off, make some inroads. If Queensland get the first couple, I think it's going to be just about done and dusted. Hard to see Tasmania getting back if they don't strike early.
Yeah, no, that's right, Andrew. I think Coach Steve Daniel will be wanting them to apply that pressure. He'll be disappointed in the last few minutes where they just opened up that door ajar for Tasmania to get back in it. So, their midfield need to get busy again. We've seen Alice Yeoman getting his hands on the footy, even though that, we've been competitive in the ruck. Both the Queensland ruckmen have valiantly tried against Phillips, especially when the ball's left the stoppage. So they've been quite good. But Yeoman, Alice Yeoman, and we're talking about Woodburn, Simpson, those boys there, Harker, get their hands on the footy. Behind the football, Queensland's really set this game up with Madonna and also Bowles. They've been good behind the footy and setting up the play. So, Cameron up forward, the 2 Camerons up forward have been good, Hammerman. So there's a lot to play for Queensland. They want to start well. They'll need to start well to try and put this game just out of reach of Tasmania if they can.
So a big third term set to get underway. Queensland looking to turn the tables after Tasmania won the last 2 years of this rep clash. Looking to make it 3 in a row, but they've got a lot of work to do if that's to be the case here this afternoon, as we're just about ready to get going in the third term. Latrobe Oval here, just bathed in sunshine at the moment. It is a lovely day for football here on the coast, and plenty of people in the cars around the boundary here. Decent crowd in to watch a good game. So we're underway. Tassie with it all to do through the legs of Simpson. Coming around at Woodburn, he was prolific in that first half. Tumbles one towards the half-forward line, almost juggling a mark there, Cameron, not quite. Handball back to Ellis Yeoman. Ellis Yeoman just drifts inside, handball back. Penetrating kick is just going to drift all the way out of bounds on the full in the end from Bowman. Just keep floating and floating out, so Elmer will take over.
Yeah, it was great work by Ellis Yeoman to leave that centre clearance and get himself over into a position. He fed the ball back, but unfortunately that kick out of bounds on the full. So Tasmania now to relaunch from the defensive 50.
An area they've had trouble with today, the Tasmanians. Elmer goes looking for Phillips, who takes a towering mark. No, not paid. A lot of it, not enough.
Just manhandled his opponent to get himself front spot.
Goes with Bowman again here and just spikes it, but Ellis Yeoman first to the fall of it, under pressure from Bogue. Coming through was Dunkley. Ball from Woodburn straight to Siggins. Bogue whacks it on the boot. It's a foot race here. Some work to do for Cameron. Applying some pressure. Good body work there from Kai Cameron. Ball spills out the back. Handball over the top in the direction of Woodburn. Cox Goodyear just charged in after that one. He won't take a backward step, the Tassie skipper.
Yeah, look at the size of him compared to Woodburn. But Woodburn didn't pull out either, so yeah, that's the sort of player he is. Such a contested player, but not much of him.
He's been impressive this afternoon, Benjamin Woodburn. Back into play. Phillips crashes into Bowman. He's handled by Siggins, but able to get a hold of the ball in the end and work it inside forward 50. Spoiled away. Might fall for Chug. Chug dribbles it through. That's just the start the Tasmanians were after as Declan Chug gets them off and running in quarter number 3.
Yep, Siggins once again, a big clearance from the middle of the, from just outside forward 50. The ball spills free, and again, Chug's in the opportunist in the right place at the right time and dribbles that goal through. And as you said, Andrew, that's the goal they needed.
So 3 in a row now for the Tasmanians, either side of the half-time break. Still 6 goals down. And that will give them some belief. Sam Siggins, as you mentioned, just starting to have an impact on proceedings after he was pretty well held early on. He is a man they will need a starring role from in this second half. The hero of 2023's rep game, Sam Siggins. Phillips gets the better of Bowman, won it down to Cox Goodyear, flicked it over the top, was looking for Bogue, but was shark there, and over the shoulder, a free kick will go the way of Woodburn. Just continues to work hard in the trenches. Woodburn goes wide, Bowman peeled out for him. Takes the mark on centre wing. He'll retreat. Arnold at half back, and they'll go all the way back to Williams and try and execute the switch here. Next link in the chain is Bowles. Bowles has some options in the corridor, and they're shut down. So now we go further afield looking for Smith. Rises high, juggles a fine mark.
Yeah, Tassie looked like they had all the exits covered there. Now it's opening up through the middle of the ground.
Well, that's got to be a free kick against Green. Just crashed straight into Austin. Austin handed it off.
Is that 50?
It's going to be 50. That will really sting the Tasmanians. Turn this into an almost certain goal.
I think it's Woodburn again. Oh, no, it's Austin, is it?
Yeah, Austin the man. This will march him to 30 out directly in front.
Important goal for Queensland. Important opportunity for a goal.
Not sure what the 50 was for. Austin sends it on its way, sends it right through the middle. And Queensland immediately wipe out the Chug goal and restore their 42-point advantage. The umpire didn't think Green was in the marking contest there when he went into the player.
Yeah, it's a big call in the middle of the ground. And to Austin's credit, he nailed the goal. So Queensland get their 10th. 2 to Hamilman, 2 to Harker, 2 to Jared Cameron. And 1 each to Smith, Dunkley, Austin. And for Tasmania, all Green, Cameron, Siggins and Chug.
Back to the middle, 42 points the lead once more. Bogue applying some pressure. Free kick had already been blown. It'll go the way of Cox Goodyear. He heads wide. Bogue had just pushed ahead of the football nicely. Stab pass. Oh, not quite able to find Green. Gathering it is Wolf. Sends it the Phillips direction. And the big man reels it in.
Well, he stayed dangerous, didn't he? He went down to the sort of just outside forward 50 there. And, just outside of the 10-metre goal square, 15, 20 metres out in front. Stood in the hole and took a nice contested mark. Just big and strong.
Not a player you want to defend against in the air, is he?
No, so good play. And Cox Goodyear certainly having an influence on the game now.
Yeah, certainly lifting the Tassie skipper. Having an impact out of the middle. So can Phillips get Tasmania's second of the quarter? He drives it right through the middle. Enjoyed that one. So Tasmania another one, and they immediately respond to the Austin goal. 4 of the last 5 as they cut the margin back to 36.
And Andrew, who are we talking about in the break? We need for Tasmania to get back into this game.
We mentioned Siggins, Cox Goodyear and Phillips.
And they've all had big influences already in this term. So Tassie right back in this game. What are we? 6 goals down now.
Inroads being made. And the key men lifting for the Tasmanians. The real star power of this side. It's a young team, so those real senior leaders going to be crucial to hopes. That would be an enormous comeback. Still a lot of work to do here after Queensland set it up early. Bowman won it down, but again, straight to Cox Goodyear. His kick, though, is no good. Straight to McDonough. McDonough with that rifling left boot of his. Ellis Yeoman peeled forward of the ball beautifully, and he stabs a short one in. That's going to be it's a mark free kick. Take your pick to Hamilman. I think he was paid the mark in the end, and he'll go back and look to respond in kind.
We spoke earlier about Ellis Yeoman, his ability to leave the centre square and run dangerously into that sort of forward area. That's the second time now he's won the ball in that area. And again, just a nice weighted kick for Hamilman to run onto, put the pressure on the defender where he probably grabbed him where he shouldn't have. And then now Hamilman has a chance to kick it up. We'll see how he goes.
He's just got that now, Ellis Yeoman, the former AFL player. He just knows where to be. He gets this one to Hamilman. His kicking has let him down a little today. This one sneaks in, though. He has his third. It's goal for goal in quarter number 3. Every time Tasmania make an inroad into that lead, Queensland respond. It's back out to 42 points.
Well, we're in for a treat. We're seeing the best of the best stand up in this third term. Hamilman kicks a goal for Queensland. And we saw, as we said, Ellis Yeoman, just his ability to just kick that ball inside forward 50 to advantage. Easier to run onto, didn't drill the player. Just kicked it well weighted, and Hamilton could run onto the ball.
The real star names, the big names starting to lift here. Quarter number 3, starting to impact things. Queensland back out by 42 points again. They've got the answers at this stage. Bounce down. Rucks negate each other there. Bogue gets a hold of the football, but immediately locked up by Woodburn. Phillips and Bowman. Phillips thought about going off the deck, but first the ball was off him and sends them inside 50. Kick it straight to Clifford. Takes the relieving mark. Properly peeling off wide. So he goes short to Wilkinson. He's now got Ives. Guides the kick out to him at half back. Theo Ives drives it down the wing. Juggling it. Did he run out of room? He did, out of bounds on the full goal. So here is McDonough with that lovely left boot of his. That's a risky kick, though. Plenty of Tassie numbers in the middle of the ground. One of them was Fletcher Hooker combining with Baxter Norton. Norton driving it in the Green direction. Green takes the mark. He's got a couple on over the top here, Green. Brewer in space, but looks like he's going to take the shot on himself.
It was a lovely kick, McDonough. That was a big kick. We have Banksmith had to take that mark. He wasn't able to, and that caused the quick response by Tasmania and the dangerous Green having a shot now to kick the 6th for the afternoon for Tassie.
Josh Green, another big name. Can he get his name on the scoreboard here from 45? He lets fly, and he nails it. Josh Green, it's on the scoreboard, cuts the margin back to 36. Tassie's third of the quarter. And the goal's starting to flow here in Latrobe.
Yep, they certainly have the game starting to open up now. Just thinking to myself then, Queensland's pressure around the footy's just dropped off slightly, and Tassie been able to pick little gaps and find targets throughout the system. That's his second goal for the day, Green. He's kicked 39 this year for Clarence, so he knows where the goals are. Of course, had a stint at the Brisbane Lions. He's well known up in Queensland.
Yeah, handy AFL career, a bit of time at Essendon as well. Did his best work with the Lions, but always a live wire inside Fort 50, and he certainly knows where the big sticks are. Took responsibility on, kicks the goal. So a third for Tassie. The first two were answered pretty quickly by Queensland. Can they string multiple goals together here, Tassie? Siggins with front position, just keeps it in front of himself. Turns, find a handball over the top, darting through traffic. The shot on the run's going to drift into the pockets. Spoiled away there. Brilliant work from Cameron, just blind flick over the top. And it'll be tossed back into play.
Tassie on top around the clearance, especially out of the middle.
Starting to make some things happen around the ball. They find consecutive goals here, the Tasmanians. It'll be Siggins doing the ruck work. Leary trying to work to the ball. Clear and kick straight to Phillips. Phillips retreats back to Wilkinson. Wilkinson uses Lowe. Lowe bends it round the corner, handed away. Leary's there. Umpire is going to play a free kick and advantage. Ellis Yeoman takes it, looped it over the top. Losing his footing was Fletcher, but they keep the ball in motion. Ford was a poor kick. It was only Theo Ives back there, able to chop it off. His kick equally poor. Really set a task for his teammate. Ives followed up though. Did well to win a hard ball and got it to Hooker. Hooker shared it now with Brower. Brower heads wide. Reeves chips it over the top for Norton. Norton turns inside and spears it to Siggins.
Beautiful build-up by the Tassie team. They looked like they were in a bit of trouble back there before. Then they were able to have numbers around the footy. They shared the ball around. They changed angles and, of course, cut back in. And the Siggins, who we spoke about influencing the game, takes a nice mark.
So Siggins looking to make it consecutive goals this quarter for the Tasmanians. The first three were answered back. Siggins to try and bring the margin back down to 30 points. As close as they've been for some time. Sam Siggins lets fly. He sprayed it across the face. They need to be taking their chances, the Tasmanians, given the state of the scoreboard.
Yeah, a reprieve for Queensland there, no question.
So here is McDonough, who just drives it into the middle of the ground. Oh, clever hands there over the top, and they're out the back here. Pressure arriving from Callow. The kick is just offline from Smith. Through for a minor score. But again, the territory McDonough gets by just his run and carry and then that penetrating boot.
Just opens the game right up, doesn't it? It'll be very dangerous.
So here is Elmer. Saunters out to the back pocket, then drives it in the Siggins direction. Callow in support. Battle will be won at ground level. Siggins just toes it for himself, but the boundary line wins out.
Well, this is the game we spoke about. This is the game we expected, and we thought that Tasmania would come back strong. They're such a proud... We know how much they love their state jumper. So a lot to do here still.
Wilson Siggins combining. There's going to be a holding free kick. It's going to go the way of the Tasmanians. Phillips, the beneficiary, and he gets them moving quickly. Spied Cox Goodyear in space wide. Use that laser of a left boot of his to drive them forward here. He'll just Set it up inside the forward 50. Smith with the fly. And he plucks it nicely, Baker Smith.
A lovely kick. He had plenty of opportunity to allow it to be able to run and jump and leap at the footy. So I think the defenders would have liked to have restricted that in some possible way, but they weren't able to, and he had a good purchase at it and took a nice mark.
Well, he was guilty of missing 2 chances he should have converted in quarter number 3. They were far easier than this one. Maybe the difficult kick's what he needs. Tasmania need a goal. Need to capitalise on this period in the ascendancy. Can Baker Smith bring them back within 30 points here? He'll kick from just inside 50. It won't have the journey. Siggins there. He ran underneath it and Williams takes the relieving mark. Gets them moving quickly. Chipped it on over the top. Found Lovig. Lovig uses Bowles. Bowles sold a bit of candy to Green, then went inside and thumped one in the Hamilman direction. Ives first the ball, takes a tumble there. Fell the way of Harker. Harker moved it forward. Hamilman running into a wide open goal. And he hits the post.
Oh, gutsy play by both teams. It spilt Queensland's way. Unfortunately, they couldn't capitalise, and Tasmania on out in the other wing.
So Cox Goodyear has gotten very busy here in quarter number 3. That's a poor bounce, and Ellis Yeoman gets him. Forces the turnover, and will be holding the ball. Cox Goodyear, he fancied himself to get round Ellis Yeoman. He did so, but then the bounce betrayed him.
He just pounced on him, didn't he? I thought to myself, he just got out of his reach, and he just all of a sudden closed him down in one foul swoop. Great turnover by Ellis Yeoman.
So that will stop Tasmania storming back the other way. They can set one up inside forward 50 here. His ball use has been good today. His decision-making has been very sound, Ellis Yeoman. Hamilman and Ives, the matchup to look out for. Hamilman pointing to the pocket. He wants it. He'll go a bit more centrally instead. Spiked away by Phillips from Bowman. Turning through traffic was King. Tumbling ball towards the teeth of goal. Ives handball to Callow under pressure, but he was composed. He did well. They've worked it out of defence, but in the path of it is Austin. Traps the ball. Stripped of it by Paprotny. Goes back in. And that's going to be holding the ball.
Yeah, dragged it in. He needed to tap that ball out or win it and feed it out.
So Paprotny stabs it into the corridor. It was a risky kick, but he did it nicely to Hooker. Might open things up here. Fletcher Hooker. He too goes inboard. Ellis Yeoman closing, but barely able to take the mark. Gets it moving. Ives has charged forward of the football here. He flung the handball. A bit too much pepper on it for Bales, though. They managed to keep a hold of it. Ives went back in. Now it's a high ball from Cox Goodyear inside forward 50. Spoil came from behind. Cameron worked it out. Driving tackle is laid by McDonough. It'll be a stoppage.
Yeah, strong play there by Harker just to fill in the hole.
Siggins out of the ruck, palmed one off, and he's pinged holding the ball. Trying to repeat his heroics from 2023 there, Siggins. Shut down this time. McDonough looks to play the 1-2. Instead, they go back to Bowles. Bowles now will use McDonough under a bit of pressure, but he's cool, he's composed. He worked the handball to Smith. Smith's kick not quite so good, though. Broken up by Hooker. And they force a stoppage. Still 37 points.
I feel like it's only 15 points.
It does feel closer. This quarter, Tassie have worked their way back in, but they haven't made massive inroads on the scoreboard. This one spills out the direction of Harker. Across the line. Toss back in, Phillips and Bowman. On down. Nicely done there by Hooker. Cox Goodyear on his non-preferred, and it shows. It's straight out of bounds on the full. All right, not quite as lethal as that left. So Tom Simpson, been impressive again. Queensland's best last year. He bites off a risky kick into the corridor, but he executed it magnificently. Austin's on over the top, instead wide for Banks Smith. Banks Smith Bite off a fair bit there. Nicely done by Beerley. Under pressure there was Cameron, but he got the handball away to Norton. Norton slapped it there for Lowe. Tries to bust through 3 tacklers. And they bring him to ground.
Queensland trying to get that ball through the corridor. Sometimes it's just not coming off at the moment, but they're buttering up to try and restrict Tasmania's to repound the ball.
Phillips wins it down. Fletcher at ground level, follows up, got it across to Simpson. Retreats back to Dunkley, who's put that one out of bounds on the full, I thought. Umpire says it stayed in. Bales was there. Protney with a tackle. And a stoppage.
Woodburn back on the ground for Queensland.
Goodyear burrowing in after it. Couldn't get a clean handball away. Crashing in his Bogue. And there is Woodburn. Might have got some high contact from Bales. Umpire says he'll have it. Spins out in the direction of Bales. Just worked off it by Harker, though, with strength. And then handballs over the top for Hahn. Hahn now will go looking for Ellis Yeoman, but his kick lacks direction. Drifts out of play. Ives looking for Cox. Goodyear. Had to wait under that. Couldn't take the mark. He wants a free kick. None forthcoming. Ives despairingly gets back on the line and gets a fingertip on it to save the day.
Oh, Goodyear's in Cox Goodyear's in everything, isn't he?
He is. They're looking for him at every opportunity. He's presenting at every opportunity. Thought he probably should have got a free kick there. None was forthcoming. Ives just able to prevent the goal on the line.
Tasmania really have spread the game wide open today, this quarter. Even though you're right, they haven't hit the scoreboard as much as they would have liked to, but they've certainly found channels and ways of getting back inside forward 50 just by opening the game right up.
38 points the margin, so they've only managed to cut 4 points into it. Much, much better this quarter, but Queensland gave themselves such a decisive lead heading into the term. Tasmania, you fancy need a couple late here in the third term to give themselves hope. Reeves will battle with McDonough. The boundary line wins out.
Ellis Yeoman one out on the goal square now. Just moving outside forward 50.
Looks like Hamilton maybe having a spell on the bench, is he?
Maybe.
Tossed back into play. Phillips and Bowman. Scooped out the back. King dumped in a great tackle there. Latching on was Harry Elmer. Strong stuff as they force the ball to half forward. Phillips rises high, won it down, only so far as McDonough. Smith with slick hands to King, nearly got decapitated by Elmer, who would get the free kick. Stabs it in the middle, that's a poor ball. Coughed it straight up to Leary. Leary heads over the top. That's an equally poor kick, turned it straight back over. And now Queensland will look to rebound via Hahn. Hahn on the wing, drives it towards Cameron. That's a precise kick to half forward. Cameron looks up now. Where will the Leeds present? They're getting some numbers back. But over the top, all on his own. Harker, no one tracking him. Dangerous man to leave alone.
Yeah, good work there by Bailey Hahn to get that ball inside foot. Now McDonough.
We know he's got the journey. It's bending back. It's majestic from Garrett McDonough. What a kick of the football this man is. He points to the crowd and says, how about that? That's why the dish was on. He absolutely nailed it. Didn't look like missing from the moment it left his boot.
Yeah, class goal by a class player. We saw Bailey Hahn win that footy. He kicked the ball out of bounds before when he went inside forward. This time, a lovely kick. He finds Jared Cameron. Cameron finds Harker again. Didn't blaze away. He lowered his eyes. He saw Harker by himself take a nice little mark. And then again, just that lack of concentration. Someone with the most deadliest kick in the game, Garrett McDonough, and he nails one just on 50.
Yeah, can't be leaving him alone. Worked it back beautifully. And for all Tasmania's endeavour, Queensland have now extended their lead from half-time. Back out to 44 points. take a minor miracle here for the Tasmanians. Queensland seemingly with the answers. Cox Goodyear has lifted this term. He's tried to will his side back into the contest. But each goal they've scored has been responded to by Queensland this quarter. Phillips and Bowman. Bowman won that one down. He won it down to Hooker, though. His kick was spoiled. Brower back to Hooker. Hooker did well to get a handball away to Bogue. Now Cox Goodyear again will drive them deep inside forward 50. Can they find a mark? Oh, Baker Smith again! He's done some great work in the air today, Baker Smith. He juggles the mark. He'll go back for his second of the term.
Yeah, Williams trying to nudge him under the ball and take that mark from behind, but a long reaching hand, got his hand in front, 2 bites of the cherry, takes a nice mark.
Now Smith kicked the more difficult of his chances today. Needs to nail a regulation one here. 30 out directly in front. This time he makes no mistake. Drives it through and cuts the margin back to 38 points.
Yeah, so good goal by Tassie. As I said, they've worked really hard. It just hasn't had the scoreboard wins that they would like this quarter. They get a late goal as they did in the second term. So Queensland, can they get another one back, or can they try and get their second one, another goal late in this quarter as well? Another goal in red time.
They kick those 2 goals just before half time, around about this point. They'd certainly use that here if they're going to give themselves a sniff in the last quarter. Baker Smith taking some lovely marks today. He's given them a good target. He has a couple of goals to show for it. Phillips rises high, won it down to Phillips. It's Hooker. He was stripped of the football. Phillips goes back in for it. Worked off it by McDonald. Now Clay Cameron sends Queensland forward. Ives worked under the ball, spoiled away. Somehow getting a kick out of there was Hammerman. How will it bounce? It bounces back towards the goals and almost went through. Just to behind in the end. And Hamilton nearly had that ball talking. Wilkinson. Wide for Lowe. Looks good here again, offering short. He must have had double-digit possessions this quarter, I reckon, Tassie skipper. High ball in the direction of Phillips. It was surely infringed upon by McDonald. You get the free kick. You want to move it quickly here. Cameron read it nicely. Leary's escaped out the back here if he can get it to him. Instead, he heads towards Siggins, who's caught behind. It might work its way to Leary. Took it cleanly. Can he turn back towards goal? He could, but he can only get a handball away. And they'll repel here through Bowles. Bowles works it across to Banks Smith. Banks Smith can have a bounce as he charges off half back. Then chips it and finds Cameron at half back. Sliding in to take the mark. He'll retreat back to Bowles. Juggling the mark. Queensland content just to slow things down here. See it out to 3/4 time perhaps. Very composed with ball in hand all day. Here's Lovick. Driving it in the Banks Smith direction. Swatted away from him by Bealey.
Queensland looking for a late goal. Approaching 28.5 minute mark of the third term.
Time for that, because there is the 3/4 time siren. A much better quarter for the Tasmanians. They're only able to make 3 points of inroads on that half-time lead. They've cut it from 42 to 39. They kicked 4 goals for the term, but Queensland had 3 of their own. Stop Tasmania kicking consecutive goals at any point. That's what they really needed to do to get themselves back into it. 3/4 time, it's a fairly handy lead for the visitors.
Yeah, great work there by Queensland. They've sort of set the game up early. They were able to, as I said, they were able to hit the scoreboard, which was really important because Tasmania seemed to dominate a fair bit of that game, but they just couldn't get that goal scoring pressure that they needed. So all set up for the final term. Is it enough?
Yeah, it will take something truly spectacular here from Tasmania. You can guarantee they won't die wondering. They will take risks. They'll go through the corridor. They'll move the ball with speed. They're going to have to be damn near perfect, though. Queensland with a very handy buffer indeed at 3/4 time. They've had all the answers so far. We'll see if they can complete the job in quarter number 4 We'll be back shortly with that for you from Latrobe, where Queensland lead 12-13, 85, 7-4, 46. Them off and running in quarter number 3.
Good opportunity for a goal.
Not sure what the 50 was for. Austin sends it on its way, sends it right through the middle. And Queensland immediately wipe out the chug goal. The fine green gathering it is Wolf, sends it in the Phillips direction. And the big man reels it in.
Well,
Tasmania's second of the quarter. He drives it right through the middle. Enjoyed that one, so Tasmania another one, and they immediately respond to the Austin goal. No, he's no good, straight to McDonough. McDonough with that rifling left boot of his. Ellis Yeoman peeled forward of the ball beautifully, and he stabs a short one in. That's going to be it's a mark, free kick. Take your pick to Hamilman. He was paid the mark down a little today. This one sneaks in though. He has his third. It's goal for goal in quarter number 3. Every time Tasmania make an inroad into that lead, Queensland respond. It's Baxter Norton. Norton driving it in the green direction. Green takes the mark. He's got a couple on over the top here, Green. Big name. Can he get his name on the scoreboard here from 45? He lets fly. And he nails it. Josh Green. It's on the scoreboard. Cuts the margin back to 36. Does his third of the quarter. Norton turns inside and spears it to Siggins.
Beautiful build-up by the Tassie team. They were able to...
Sam Siggins lets fly. He sprayed it across the face. Need to be taking their chances, the Tasmanians, given here. He'll just set it up inside the forward 50. Smith with the fly. And he plucks it nicely, Baker Smith. Went inside and thumped one in the Hamilman direction. Eyes first, the ball takes a tumble there. Fell the way of Harker. Harker moved it forward there. Fell the way of Harker. Harker moved it forward. Hamilman running into a wide open goal. And he hits the post.
Oh, gutsy play by both teams. It spilled Queensland's way. Unfortunately, they couldn't capitalise.
Gotten very busy here in quarter number 3. That's a poor bounce, and Ellis Yeoman gets him. Forces the turnover, and it will be up. Ives looking for Cox Goodyear. Had to wait under that, couldn't take the mark. He wants a free kick, none forthcoming. Ives despairingly gets back on the line and gets a fingertip on it to save the day. And over the top, all on his own. Harker, no one tracking him. Dangerous man to leave alone.
Yeah, good work there by...
We know he's got the journey. It's bending back. It's majestic from Garrett McDonough. What a kick of the football this man is. He points to the crowd and says, how about that? That's Goodyear again. Will drive them deep inside forward 50. Can they find a mark? Oh, Baker Smith again. He's done some great work in the air today. The regulation one here. 30 out directly in front. This time he makes no mistake. Drives it through and cuts the margin back to 38 points.
Yeah, so good goal by Tassie.
So welcome back for the final quarter here in Latrobe. It's Tasmania with it all to do. 39 points behind of Queensland in this state representative series game. Tasmania winning in 2023 and 2024, but Queensland looking well on track to turn the tables here in 2025. What do they need to do in this final quarter to make sure that happens, Jack Barry?
Well, we've got to stay on plan with what they did. They tackle pressure at the start of the game, making sure that Tasmania can't play the game on their terms. And we spoke about it at halftime during the break, just between each other, that if Cox, Goodyear, Phillips and Siggins can lift, wind back the clock a little bit, the younger ones will follow. And we saw that in patches that quarter. Probably didn't get the scoreboard results that they wanted, but we saw Kai Cameron and Baker Smith really come to the fore. They're exciting forwards for the future of Tasmania. So that was really good for Queensland. As I said, they've probably just got to make sure they get back to winning the footy. They're really good behind the ball, we've seen today. So if they can continue to do that this quarter, they should be able to hold out this game. Important they get the first goal, though.
Tasmania really will be playing risky football, going through the corridor, moving at speed. You might as well risk losing it by 12 goals or so to try and give yourself a chance here. They'll be throwing the kitchen sink here. They need to strike fast and they need to strike hard. Cox Goodyear was immense in that third term. They'll need more from him, the skipper. It's 39 points behind. It would take something special from here as we get underway in the final quarter. This representative fixture, Tassie and Queensland. Phillips and Bowman both swipe at it, and then eventually the umpire says, we'll go again.
See the hard checking. Reece King's taking Cox Goodyear now.
No surprise if he gets a bit more attention here as Phillips swats that one in his direction. Battle away for it. Cox Goodyear working to the football and gets there first. We want to turn onto the trusty left. He does just that and sends it into the pocket. The kick doesn't really favour Smith. And Williams sees it across the line.
Again, just his ability to run hard to get himself free to win that footy out here. Cox Goodyear's had an outstanding game, especially his second half.
Really leading from the front is the Tassie skipper. Tasmania with an inside 50 here. Early goal might just give them some belief. Sam Siggins looked to take it out. Green handball to Leary. He's been quiet. Can he spark to life here? Leary to the goal square. Juggling the mark and firing home is Cameron. Well, there's the early goal Tasmania needed. And it's a couple of their live wires, Leary and Cameron, who get involved from the front. Kai Cameron finishes the job.
Yeah, good goal there by Cameron. He kept the ball alive. And a nice goal to Tasmania. They get the first in the final term. That's the one they're looking for. So Queensland now won't need to panic. Need just to get back to what got them there in the first place, and that's just winning ball at contests and running in numbers, working hard in defence.
Tasmania, 7 in the first 3 quarters. You'd probably say they'd need 7 in this last quarter to be any chance, really. There's one of them. There's still a very long road back here. Consecutive goals there for the Tasmanians. Either side of the break. Wide ball in the direction of Harker. He's been strong. Cameron's been impressive. He's stripped of the football here, though, by Bealey. And just diving on top of it, the call there against Harker. So free kick will go the way of Elmer. Drives it down the line, looking for Bailey Bowe. Coming from behind was Bowman. Spilt the way of Brower. Advantage called. He'll drive them inside the forward 50. Green is there. Siggins is there. Spiked away towards the line, and Dunkley takes it out.
Yeah, Queensland won't want to try and just defend this game. They've got to try and win the game. And I know they've got a good of a lead, but they'll need to keep on taking the game on.
You see the intent from the Tasmanians to do just that.
Yep.
And they're moving the ball quickly, trying to get it in there. 2-22, Siggins and Bowman to contest this ruck battle. Siggins works his way to the front. Bowman just cleverly worked him underneath it, though. There was Simpson with strength. He got it to Williams, and Williams guides a wide kick, and he found Smith at half-back. Smith, penetrating kick up the wing. Cox Goodyear and Wilkinson were there to see it out. Tossed in on centre wing. Towards the line, Ellis Yeoman first to it. Looks it forward. Smith high ball towards the half-forward line. Slipped out the back for Wilkinson. Wilkinson driving it in the green direction on a searching lead, Josh Green. Weaving one way, then the other, then guiding it forward. From a shallow ball, Leary running onto it. Deflects off him and out of play. Oh, you're kidding.
He's made it deliberate.
In what world? It's deflected off his boot. That is a bizarre decision. Anyway, Queensland will take over in defence. This one's cleared up to a contest. Wilkinson worked under the football there by Arnold, or by Cameron rather. And Cameron happy to walk it across the line. A few in the crowd suggesting that was just as intentional as Leary's. The crowd looking for something spectacular in the last quarter here. A famous victory if they were to pull it off. Queensland still with this game firmly within their keeping. Phillips just slapped it into Norton. Simpson. And he's wrapped up and he's going to be pinged there. Not much he could do. Had the one arm pinned by Baxter Norton.
Yeah, great tackle by...
Oh, that is so silly from Fletcher Hooker.
Yeah. Simpson played it.
Absolutely, but he gave him the excuse. And again, Simpson able to just guide one to half forward for Cameron. Cameron. There's a Cameron combination again. He spots up Jared.
How well have those two worked well together? They've both complemented each other's play.
Yeah, the Clay and Jared combination has been impressive. Same name and same wavelength. Jared Cameron. To make it almost impossible for the Tasmanians here. He'll kick from inside 50. He hangs it near side. 34 points. Wales will take the kick out. See if he goes with dare down the corridor. He runs it out and does just that. Goes looking for Green and finds him. That's a beautiful kick from Bales. And he uses Chug to a one-on-one. Baker Smith working towards the football. Williams defending it. Cameron lurking. Gets there. Hits the deck. Umpire's whistle goes.
Out of bounds, throw in. Hit the point post.
Yeah, point post.
The ability to go from end to end was very quickly. You said they'll go through the middle of the ground. They did. They're going straight to Phillips and then the dangerous Green, who's really lifted as well.
Working up the ground and presenting nicely at the moment. So, a better result than a behind for the Tasmanians. Ball hitting the post there. We toss back in. Siggins beaten by Bowman. Siggins gathers, gets a snap away. Cameron acrobatically. The defence able to see it across for a behind. So Bowles step out and we'll just go for distance. Phillips backing back into the pack, spoiled away into the middle of the ground. Big ball to be won, and Harker was there and he did nicely to get it to Bowman. Tries to use Ellis Yeoman, worked it across there to King. King sends him inside forward 50 and he found Hamilman.
Again, just the deft touch of Ellis Yeoman below his feet. He's been excellent below his knees all day long. Just touched that ball out. And King, who's gone onto the footy, has been influential. Just a nice way of lowering your eyes and hitting the dangerous Hamilman. Big goal for Queensland now if he can kick it.
39 points. Might possibly be an insurmountable margin if he nails it. Hamilman drops the hammer, drives it through. He has another one. And Queensland might well have this game won. They're out by 39 points.
4 goals to the champ. Fantastic effort today. I think he kicked 4 goals in last year's state game. So it was a great goal, much needed goal for Queensland just to steady the flow.
They've had the answers in this second half, haven't they? Tasmania have challenged them, but they've just found a way to respond every time.
Yeah, the good players have really stood up To be fair to both teams today at different times, but again, just a nice kick by Reece King going inside forward 50.
I have enjoyed his game, Reece King, and he's been very impressive, been involved in a number of their goals, setting things up. So back out to 39 points. It may well be curtains now as McDonald works this one round the corner, charging out after it is low. Trickle across the line.
Invaluable experience for McDonald to come up against a ruckman like Phillips today. He will learn so much from this game. He's sort of the future for Queensland footy.
Yeah, certainly the best learning experience playing against quality opponents. Andrew Phillips is certainly that. AFL experience on the big flick. It's this one. It's one down to Siggins, handball to Green. Elmer looks to switch the play up. Pretty well at ground level was Brewer, and they work it into the middle for Hooker. Slaps it on the boot inside forward 50. That was shut down. Now an opportunity perhaps for Wolf. Couldn't quite make it work, and they'll bounce off half back here via Woodburn, and Woodburn found a marking target in the form of Fletcher. Fletcher wheels and goes. Ellis Yeoman all on his own. And he's got a couple of options out the back here. He'll drive it in quickly, sends it into the pocket, paddled on and across the line for a minor score.
A little bit going behind play between Wolf and Woodburn.
Elmer chips it short. Low. That's why they're playing on every opportunity here now. Norton. Flat ball up to the wing. Wasn't a great kick, but somehow found its way through to Cox Goodyear and launches it out the back looking for Wolf. Leary there lurking too. Will it sit for him? It does. And he runs into an open goal, and Brandon Leary kicks Tasmania's ninth.
And the ability to go from end to end, that wasn't happening in the first half, but they're finding a way as the game's opened up. And it's a good goal there to... Sorry, who kicked that one? I missed that one.
Brandon Leary.
Brandon Leary, yeah. Good goal to Leary. Just a nice little dribble kick through.
Cox Goodyear just launching it out the back for him. Let's play together. Years at North Launceston together, that duo. Certainly wouldn't be the first time Cox Goodyear set up a Brandon Leary goal.
Well, he kicked 38 this year, so yeah, he certainly knows where they are.
It's one fairly well held today, Leary, but that's one there, pulls it back to 34 points again, and Tasmania just playing on it every opportunity now, as they simply must. Strength shown from Tom Simpson, gets the clearance, sends it forward, spoiled away, Paprotny under pressure, Fletcher there. Queensland, I don't think the ball's going out. It'll be tossed up. Phillips swipes at it. McDonald gathers. Phillips wrapped him up. And Hooker lays the tackle. Phillips won it down. Ellis Yeoman with strength. Offermans turns onto his right and snaps it round the corner. Ives right on the line, gets a fist to it and spikes it into the pocket now to play.
Yeah, great defensive work there by Tasmania. Again, they've been desperate behind the footy all day long, deep in defence. Simpson's really lifted his game in this final term.
Phillips smashes that one towards the paint of 50. Locked in once more. McDonald down. Donald applying pressure. Bogue couldn't take it cleanly. Waves play on. Elmer now locking it in. Go again. It's locked just around the paint of 50 here. Will suit Queensland just fine with their current lead as Offerman sends it deep inside forward 50. Fletcher roving, squared it up to Ellis Yeoman, kept moving it to Banks Smith. Banks Smith is brought down just in the goal square. Now the pressure comes from Hamilmans. That's got to be holding the footy. The relentless pressure pays off. And a free kick in the goal square here. An almost certain goal coming up for Queensland. Ellis Yeoman will go back and slot this one through, you'd imagine. And he does just that. Adds a goal to what's been an impressive performance from the powerful Cam Ellis Yeoman. He's been a difference maker today.
Yeah, he's had an outstanding game. As I said, all day he's been pretty consistent over the 4 quarters. And I suppose since Tasmania's really made a real effort in this second half, it's been Queensland's been able to sort of get one back each time, haven't they?
Yeah.
As good as Tasmania's been, the Maroons have been able to answer.
Well, it's 42 points at halftime. It's 40 points now, so they've
yeah.
shaved off 2 points, despite being pretty good in the second half.
They
I
have,
think Tassie
yeah.
would be happy with how they've played, but they've had all the answers all afternoon, and they set themselves a very nice lead to take into that halftime break. Goes back to the middle. Lasted forward again by Simpson. Continues to rack him up in the middle. Cameron cleverly looking to combine with Harker. Paprotny did well to work it back to Bales. Bales off balance, tries to manufacture a kick, drifting across King. Who just comes unstuck, slipping on the cycling track there. Fortunately back to his feet. There's a bit of a dew factor out there now, which can make that a little bit treacherous. Here's Simpson again. Stabs it. Just pushed underneath the football, I think, is the umpire's call there. It's going to be a free kick to Austin against Reeves.
He's battled hard today, Austin, hasn't he? He's worked back and he's worked forward.
And hands it off to the dangerous McDonough, who looks to drive through another, but this time he's kicking, lets him down and remarkably puts it out of bounds on the full.
Yeah.
Tasmania will awake to that one again. Got to be eyes on him anytime anyone's got the ball around the paint of 50, I reckon, running off the back. No harm done on that occasion. Long ball out of defence. Smith rising high, but Phillips had been infringed with. In fact, it'll be Protney. Bogue. Coaster boy Bailey Bogue drives it down the line looking for Leary, but the numbers favoured Queensland. Smith slides across to intercept. Dylan Smith will retreat backwards. Dunkley. Moore. Donna. Chipping the ball around the defence here, controlling possession. Running time off the clock. Lovig now. No, it's job just about done here. It's the face for Dunkley. An ugly kick for Williams. Winning it back was Fletcher Hooker, but Williams with the second effort to tackle him and win the ball back. There were 2 Tasmanians free inside forward 50. That's a goal-saving tackle there from Williams. As Austin punches one to half forward, sliding in but not quite taking the mark. There was Paprotny. Bowman goes unopposed in the end. Sends it deep, might be a hold on McDonald's. Yeah, it will be a hold on McDonald, who now realises he's got the free kick and will get the ball. Extend the lead to 46 points. Next, McDonald. Sneaks it home and extends the lead to 46. There's the century. Queensland can raise the bats. And it's been a fantastic performance from them today. And they continue to kick away here. They're going to be heading back up to the mainland with a victory in tow.
Yeah, great goal by Max McDonald pushing forward. The young lad out of Maroochydore who carries the ruck burden for him up at the Roo is doing an outstanding, having a really good season. He's a future, as we said, hopefully future leader and future ruckman for the state. And as I said, it's been a great learning experience for today, and he's got himself a goal.
Make it all the sweeter for him. Phillips in the middle, paddled down towards Norton, shrugs free of Woodburn and sends a high ball inside the forward 50, looking for Siggins. It'll bounce in his favour, but he was pressured well. Gathered by Cameron, who snaps towards goal. Smith in the goal square. And just offline. He has been lively, Kai Cameron. Many things happen. The ball just hasn't got down there to him often enough today. He's up to threat any time the ball's been in his vicinity. So more take his time, then kick up the wing straight to Phillips.
Just seems to get to the right spots all the times, Phillips.
He's expert at positioning himself behind the ball, and he launches this one in the Siggins direction through his hands. Now a play.
Queensland certainly reaping the benefits of a fantastic first half of footy.
Set it up with a blitz. Kicked out to a 54-point lead at one stage. 63-9. It was ruthless. It was dominant. We'll see them walk away victors here today. Time in the last quarter now. He's looking for a consolation goal here late on.
Free kick.
Baxter Norton, a beneficiary. He's a lovely kick, Norton. So can he get himself a goal here? Baxter Norton sends it on its way. It's across the face. A minor score.
Yeah, full credit to the coaching staff of Queensland, led by Steve Daniel. He just continually gets the job done. I think he's coached 11 premierships. Coached Southport last year, assistant coach of Victoria in the VFL, and a former Queensland country coach. So he's come through all the different programs, but he got the job done for Queensland country against Victoria country probably 10 or so years ago, 14 years ago. And he was really keen to try and bring the pride back to Queensland again. And he certainly looks like he's delivered that.
Oh, he had them absolutely red hot out of the gates there today. His pre-game address clearly worked wonders. They rocked up here in Latrobe. It was clear they'd come to play. They jumped the Tasmanians. And they never really looked back.
Just has that ability to put him in a good frame of mind, excited, but not overexcited, and he empowers his coaching staff around him. And they've responded after what, as I said, was a big loss last year, Queensland.
Siggins, I think, thought he was going to get the free kick, but it's going to go against him. So McDonald stabs it wide. Almost an acrobatic mark there, brought in by Smith. Didn't quite complete it. Fletcher Hooker punches it forward. Williams, a pillar in defence today, but that one not quite so sound. Just kicks it straight out of bounds on the full. Baker Smith. Tight angle. Tap pocket for a left footer. Let's see what he can produce. As with the right. It's a wonderful kick. Baker Smith adds another one. So he's had a pretty good afternoon. Missed a couple he'd like back in that second quarter, but outside of that, he's been one of Tassie's best. He's taken some strong marks, and is that his fourth goal?
Yeah, I like the look of Baker Smith and Kai Cameron. Both those boys, the future of Tassie, looks fantastic. With those boys, they're athletic and playing really well. But that's a lovely goal from that angle. A player to watch in the future, that's for sure.
He's taken his tougher chances today. It was the simple ones that seemed to give him the trouble, Baker Smith. But he's kicked a couple of high degree of difficulty shots. Cuts the margin back to 38 points. Tasmania get their noses back ahead in the second half. Of course, going from a long way back as we tick towards the conclusion of this one. Handball from Siggins towards Leary, hitting up at the ball. He's immediately caught by Simpson. Going to stand out today, slapped on by a hooker. Looking for Cameron. First to it, though, was Dunkley. And they'll chain handballs here and chip it out wide for Banks. Smith couldn't quite track that one down.
Yeah, clever hands by Dunkley, running away from the contest. A nice little handball over the top.
Another insufficient intent call's been made, has it? Maybe Brewer to take over. High ball inside forward 50. The pack forms in the hands of Wilkinson. Tossed into play. Dying embers of this one.
Well, shout out to the 75 team. It was 50 years ago that they had the famous victory, our first ever victory over Tasmania in Queensland. And we had some of the former players come back and talk to the boys about the importance of winning these types of games. And Queensland's responded.
It has been a strong response last season, that's for sure. It's cleverly paddled on by Harker. And then Hahn hasn't paid the mark. He's now under some pressure. Elmar has a hold of him, and Elmar will get the free kick. So far out to score here, Harry Elmar. Green, Cox Goodyear offering. Instead he'll just stand it up high inside forward 50. Tossed up. Queensland kicking 9 of the first 10 goals of this contest. Blew the contest wide open. The dominant first half. Man, Simpson was at the heart of much of it. He drives them out of defence here, but a great kick straight to Smith. Smith sets it up. McDonald takes a fine contested mark. Makes some strength there, the big fella.
He can hold his head high today in his state debut game in the seniors.
To look out for coming years. Max McDonald. Banks Smith sees that one on a play. Donald working his way to the front, paddles down to Ellis Yeoman, just bursts through the tackle of Leary and hands off to McDonough. McDonough over the top to Offermans. Offermans, handball back to Ellis Yeoman, and now here's McDonough, who fires it inside the forward 50. Couldn't quite take the mark though. Elmer now looks to bound away with it. Under some pressure, Chug retreats back to Bales, high up and under. Ellis Yeoman planted underneath it. Wilkinson did pretty well, and Tasmania will drive it forward in the direction of Sam Siggins. He'll stay in for Siggins. He's got Green and he's got Wolf, or he might just go himself, Sammy Siggins. He gives it a roost right to the line. Wolf kept it in play. Queensland defence will see it away. Williams again doing the defensive work back there. We'll lock this one up for another stoppage.
Yeah, he's been good down there today, Williams. He's had his moments, he's had his battles, but he's also been influential in different plays, different rebounds.
Hooker, high kick. 50, and there's the siren. It's it's Queensland who get the job done in Latrobe. They get vengeance for last year with a dominant performance, a 38-point victory. They were ruthless in the first half. They kicked 9 of the first 10 goals to set up a famous victory. They came down here with a mission, and boy did they accomplish it. Tassie fought back in the second half, were far more competitive, but the job had been done with a brutal burst to start things off. They jumped the hosts and never looked back. A 38-point victory for Queensland over Tasmania, and a brilliant performance from the Maroons there, Jack Barry.
Yeah, a great win for Queensland. I just said a famous win for Queensland. Any time to come into a state like Tassie and win a game like this, means a lot to our game, especially for our Queensland players to come down here and do the job off the back of the performance last year. Goes to 2-1 in the series over a 3-year period. So it's been a great. Who will ever forget the game we played at North Hobart? An amazing game, and then Queensland to come away losing the game last year at Bond University. But to bounce back the way they did with the coaching staff, full credit to Queensland. It was an outstanding performance. I thought the better players. I thought Alice Yeoman had a great game. Woodburn again was solid over the 4 quarters. Simpson got his hands on the ball at different stages. He really set the game up early in the first term and finished off strong in the final term, as did King in the first term. I thought Harker was fantastic. Again, probably the first half of the game and late in the last quarter. And, of course, always great to see Hamilton finish off with 4. Probably could have had 7, but he did really well. And I thought for Tasmania, Cox Goodyear certainly was... And we saw the champion player that he is, and his ability to work up across the ground, try and make things happen. At different times we spoke during the commentary that he got caught because he was trying to make things happen and try and carry his team on the back of the shoulders, and through no effort he was fantastic. Phillips just knows to be such a great player. He got to some great spots. Baker Smith, I thought in Green and Siggins, they certainly had their moments. So who were some of the young blokes that you saw today that you thought did well for Tassie?
Yeah, I love what Kai Cameron offered inside forward 50. I think he's a really exciting prospect. He's someone to look out for in the future years. It was a tough day for the Tasmanians. They were beaten up around the ball early on, but to their credit, they kept persevering throughout the 4 quarters. Smith, as you say, had plenty of highlight reel moments, took some great marks. I think they'll be happy with what he showed. Bailey Bogue battled hard all day. I thought he showed a bit in there. Just not enough winners across the park, and probably relied a bit too much on some of the senior players at times. I think was evident. I think the best players for Tasmania probably were some of those older heads. Cox Goodyear, I think, will probably get the nod as Tassie's best. I thought he was phenomenal. I can't speak highly enough of the way he tried to will that side back into the contest in the 3rd quarter. They just left themselves far too much to do. He was outstanding. It was a really impressive performance from Queensland, though. They were so good out of the blocks. Tasmania, they looked panicked. They were turning the ball over. They didn't know where to go, and I think so much of that was the relentless intent that Queensland brought. They were absolutely magnificent. I think my co-commentator is being summoned downstairs here, so perhaps just a final word from you, Jack, before you sign off.
Well, again, I just want to talk about the goal kickers we saw for Queensland. 4 to Hamilman, 2 to Jared Cameron, and then also 2 to Cohen Harker, then 1's to Ryan Banks-Smith, Kyle Dunkley, Garrett Madonna, Will Fletcher, Jack Austin, and Max McDonald, Cam Ellis Yeoman. And for Tasmania, I had 2 to Baker Smith, 2 to Kai Cameron, and 2 to Josh Green, and then 1 each to Brandon Leary, Sam Siggins, Declan Shug, and Andrew Phillips. But for me, I thought the medal, as I said, I agree with you, Cox Goodyear, and also I think potentially we'll be interested to see who is it. I thought Alice Yeoman was pretty influential across the ground, but it could go to a lot of different players.
It certainly could. There are plenty of winners across the ground and at different stages. I suppose it depends how much you want to wait when the damage was done early on. It's a tough one for the Queensland coaching staff, I reckon, to pick the best out of there. It's not many had their colours lowered today.
Yeah, no, there's so many positives that come out of the program, and full credit to Mitchell Simpson who puts this program together, and Trish Squires and the team back at the AFL to try and keep this sort of great memories along for people to represent their states. It's been a 3-year journey, and the girls today, so it's a great day for Queensland footy, no question about it.
No doubt. Looks like they're just about getting ready for the presentation down here at ground level. We'll see if our microphones can pick that up. Might struggle a little bit, but Let's see if that's picked up as everyone's mulling over on the boundary side. A very happy Queensland outfit, as you would expect. They were fantastic today. As you say, after a couple of years of Tasmania winning, they pull one back in emphatic fashion here.
And to be fair, it's a different program for Tasmania. They've played, 3 or 4 different games. They're building towards their licence. There's a lot going on in the state. So, we're just a privilege to come down here and play on iconic Calder ground.
A really high quality contest between two really great sides. Obviously,
post-game ceremony.
Jeremy, if you could come up and say a few words and present your best on ground medal.
Yeah, firstly, thanks for everyone coming out. Great day. Representative 20, well done to the Queensland who won for us today, especially early. So enjoyed a few beers and had a safe trip home, and best of luck to your local clubs for the remainder of the year. To our brothers, commiserations, but we've got a couple of weeks to bounce back. So look forward to seeing our response. Best of luck for us today with our captain, Brad Cox. Good year.
And I'll just get Steve to come forward and say a few words on behalf of the winning team and to present your best on ground medal.
Thank you very much. First of all, to Tasmania, the last couple of years you've just been too good for us, so I know this group over here are very determined to come over here and try and knock you off. Very competitive, the way we're competitive. Unfortunately for you, I know you're probably not real happy about that, but we're pretty good. I think you all. The Zane Taylor medal goes to best on ground, Cam Elliott Yeoman.
There we go. Barry 2 from 2. Predictions. And this Yeoman, he was he jumped out at me looking at the team sheet. Boy, did he deliver. Well, Adelaide player, Brisbane player, he's got AFL experience and showed he was classy.
Come forward and present winning trophy.
The new state captain.
That's all from you today, guys.
Victorious captain, and take that trophy back to the team to celebrate. Queensland, winners of the 2025 Representative Series game over Tasmania. They were magnificent. Blitz in the first half set up the win. Worthy winners on the day, and I'm sure they will enjoy the celebrations for that one. They were the better side today, and they get the job done after Tasmania were too good in 2023-2024. It was a proud response from the Maroons today. Wonderful performance, and it's been a pleasure bringing it to you. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage on the live stream. Thank you for coming down and offering your insights and special comments, Jack.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. A great call once again. Always love catching up with you and listening to your calling. You're an outstanding caller, so I appreciate your hospitality this weekend.
No worries, go enjoy the victory. I'm sure you and all the Queenslanders here will. That's all from us here on the AFL Tas live stream. Hope you enjoyed the coverage from Latrobe. Bye for now.